SSG lost to W7M and BDS, and we'll be chatting about that a little bit later. But SCARZ versus SSG, an elimination on the line. Who is going home? It is a rematch from the Copenhagen Major, where SCARZ knocked out SSG. Will SSG get revenge, or will SCARZ do it again? Who will come out victorious today, and whose time here at the Atlanta Major is over? I'm Jackie Jing, and I am with Laxing and Fresh. I'm hearing singing, I'm hearing yelling. I mean, you can just feel the intensity in this game room right now. And the pressure is on, gentlemen. One of these teams will be out of the tournament.
Well, if you're already SCARZ, you got to be feeling good going against a team that you recently, not that long ago, knocked out. And then especially being in this situation, you're kind of familiar with what they do. You already have that head-to-head against them. I mean, if I'm SCARZ, I'm feeling good. And you heard them chirping. I've never seen them chirp anyone. So.
No. This is the third time we've seen them, right? And they've always been quite quiet, quite respectful, smiling, waving.
There's no respect.
It looks like they're ready for this. Genuinely, it's the first time I've seen them like that.
Very different energy. And I have a fun fact here. They're the first Japanese team in 4 years to make it to the main stage back at Copenhagen. Fresh, can they do it again?
Of course they can. There's always a chance. I think, it's going to be a lot harder because they are in best of 3 territory now. They only had to play, I think it was the one best of 3. In the Copenhagen in Swiss stage. They're now going to have to play through 3 best of 3s. Significantly harder. And in all honesty, they're not looking as hot as they looked through Copenhagen Swiss stage.
No, but I will say they did have that first hiccup at the beginning of this, and then we did see them the other day. Granted, they still lost, but they showed a lot more improvement. We saw Rek actually getting into gunfights that we said that he needs to be getting into. So that alone is going to set them up for success if they can come in here today. And again, we already talked about the vibes are there, so I can only imagine that with the vibes being there, Rek already playing a lot better specifically, this is going to be a close one.
Okay, so SSG lost to W7M, BDS. Laxing was talking to you about this earlier. I mean, that's a tough draw. I mean, come on, 2 major winners? That's hard.
Well, the thing is, SSG already has this kind of ego going, this very gung-ho, we're going to get in your face, we're waking up doing plunges at 2 in the morning, running for 5 hours until 6 a.m. Jumping in random lakes. So, you're ready for anything at that point. You can take anything. So I know a team like SSG and the mentality that they aren't going to make excuses for themselves. Sure, it's hard, but doesn't matter. If you want to be the major winner, you have to beat every single team. And the attacking and defending from this team, I mean, look at the placing. Sorry, I need to put on my glasses really quick. I meant to slide them on before we started. Sorry about that.
It's hard to see on that monitor.
Yeah, I know. It is a little bit. It's a little dark. But, I mean, when you look at the attacking rank, 18th place, that isn't great. 17th place, also in the defending, that's not looking great either. And SSG also had a really slow start during the NAL, and they did pick it back up. But we're starting to see a downhill trend coming into these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, looking at these stats, it's not going to be great because we are in the 0 and 2 elimination game in the best of 3. The one thing I will say, especially for SSG, is that we do expect them to be higher than that.
Yes.
This is a dip in form and a dip in quality, but they can get back to where we expect them to be.
Okay. I haven't said this in a while, but put on the coach's hat, put on the player's hat here. Elimination is looming. And I know we can't get inside their actual brains here, but you've been in this position before. What was going through your head?
The thing is, you only can do everything you possibly can in every single game until you get to a point where you don't have any more excuses. You can't make any more excuses. Your back is literally against the wall, and if you don't perform, you don't show up, all 5 of you aren't working together, it's done. You can't do anything about that, whether you go home, make changes, talk about it. Doesn't matter. What you got to do in these moments is just show up, communicate, work together, and sometimes teams thrive in that. We've seen miracle runs. I think it was it 2018 when SSG won invite, or was that 2019?
SSG 2020.
Oh, was that 2020? Okay, well, anyways, 2020, you saw NIP. They went to the absolute bottom, and they climbed all the way to the grand final. Sure, they came up short, but you can do it. You have chances. It's just you can't lose anymore.
The things that I always used to tell my team and myself is control what you can control.
Yes.
So each individual, do your job to the best of your ability and a little bit more if you can. Same with the coaches. Get everything right. Get the prep right. Get the map bans right. And for each individual player, just get the little phases of it. Even if it's a phase around, get that right and move from there.
Okay, well, speaking about maps, we are ready to move into the map ban selection process. We're going to get that information up on the screen. Here it is. And
Ooh.
Thinking.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so I'm looking at SSG straight away and I'm seeing them pick into Nighthaven. Now, SCARZ played Nighthaven on the first day of Swiss up against G2. And I'm going to put this as nicely as I can. They looked absolutely lost.
Yes.
So I understand why SSG, who are a counter-heavy team, have picked into that. SCARZ have picked into Clubhouse where it kind of neuters SSG's style a little bit because they want to be gung-ho. Can't do that on Clubhouse. We've seen them struggle against Bliss. We saw them lose it yesterday. Now, the interesting one for me is actually SCARZ's permaban is Chalet. SSG get forced to ban it out in the final end of the ban phase, and where that allows SCARZ to take the decider map to is Kafe. Now, SCARZ are okay at Kafe, it's kind of a 50-50 map, but for SSG, they're on a really bad run. I think they've only won it once in the last 5 times they've played it, so that's a little bit of concern. If we get there, SSG have not got the best run of form on this map.
When I look at this, obviously you touched about Nighthaven. SCARZ did look not even remotely close to a team that was set up and prepared for G2 with that 7-1. And when I look at Clubhouse, sure, they did pick that, but when I look at, the Copenhagen Major, the game that they lost to SSG on was Oregon. And Oregon and Clubhouse, to me, are very familiar in terms of it's a very default map. There's not a lot you're going to do that's going to surprise the other team, regardless if they're from a different region or not. So that alone, I'm seeing both those 2 beginning maps heavily favoring SSG.
Okay, predictions time. We ready? What are we thinking? Why are you smiling so much?
You've got the heart prediction and you've got the head prediction, right? My heart prediction is I kind of want SCARZ because I kind of like those team. I kind of want them to win.
Yeah.
But my head just says SSG are just of a better quality and that Copenhagen was a blip on the radar.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to have to go with SSG overall. And like I said, with those 2 maps being the way that they are and seeing how SCARZ played Nighthaven specifically, I definitely see SSG running away with it.
Can we talk about the energy in here right now, though? I mean, literally, people were singing in here. I just feel like SCARZ is bringing a different type of energy today.
I will say, I do think it's 1-0 to SCARZ. And this is no disrespect to SSG.
Okay.
The 2 teams do their little huddle and they get all into it. SCARZ were definitely louder.
Definitely louder.
Well, if you heard it, I think Ashton said, like, what was that? That wasn't even loud, but they weren't even done finishing.
No,
they were still
that was just their little huddle talk, and Ashton shouted.
He didn't understand what was actually following after that because they definitely screamed and let out a little bit of a war cry.
Also, how are we doing on predictions, by the way, gentlemen?
Not too bad.
Not too bad?
I'm not doing hot. I mean, based off, especially with the Sonics loss, I mean, I had them with a 3-0. So
same actually.
It's looking a little rough for
I've
the
only got
both
G2 still in the game to win it, to be honest.
Okay.
Not too great.
Well, we'll have to see after this matchup who is correct. But we are ready to send it over to James and Mandy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but at Copenhagen Major, you all casted SSG versus SCARZ. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Jackie. This was my favorite match that we casted because SCARZ made the main stage taking down SSG. And let's be real, we are all Japan fans here today. SCARZ have had a fantastic year so far, and I think it's just fitting that we can send them again to playoffs.
Whoa. We can't get ahead of ourselves. SSG still has a chance. There's no way I can let you guys cast this without a North American representative here.
Are we okay with this, Mandy?
Well, you know what? They need at least someone to represent them on the broadcast. Look, we'll give them that. They've had a rough one, okay?
It's been a rough one for NA so far, but I'm glad that you're here with us, Fox. So we'll take it into Space Station taking on SCARZ, an elimination match here at the Atlanta Major. The team that loses this will go home. What do you reckon, Fox? Fresh said that this is 1-0 to SCARZ after what happened in Copenhagen. Now here in Atlanta, is it time for revenge?
I think it's a different time. I think SSU was very static in the way that they played back then. And I want to say that now, especially with getting Ashton, I feel like they're a little more dynamic, especially on Nighthaven. This is a good SSG map. It's a very aggressive map. SCARZ lost it yesterday to G2.
That's right. Well, it is Japan's best hope in years. The first APAC team on main stage for over a year and the first from Japan in 4. But for Space Station, new player, new staff, and a new chance to make redemption here in Atlanta.
I'm going to piggyback off Fox's point, actually. Where SSG have really found their identity in Stage 2, SCARZ, I think, on the other hand, have really not changed that much since Copenhagen. It really feels like more of a refining period in their play style and actually playing the meta and the right way of playing Siege, quote-unquote, if you will want to put it that way. Whereas, yeah, I think SSG have made pretty drastic changes in comparison to the way that they play and the team flow and dynamic that they bring to the server.
I think you guys might get a little mad at me, but I feel like SCARZ has only gotten worse than their last showing at the Major, at least from what I've seen.
I would perhaps agree with that.
Okay.
I think that's a little mean, but
Fair enough, yeah.
I wouldn't say that they've changed that much.
Well, the results so far at this Major have not been great for SCARZ. They promised great things, but in their opening match, they actually played Nighthaven and they got 7-1 by G2. In their following match, they went up against Los and only won 5 rounds on bank. These guys haven't even made it to an overtime yet, and they are now on the verge of elimination.
I feel like energy may come into play here. SCARZ don't seem like a team that will rally back, especially if SSG gets off hot. They're screaming at each other, they're screaming at the other team. We all know SSG is full of fun.
Yeah, that's certainly right. SCARZ definitely have the more mellow vibe of the two teams, if you will. SSG, they're very gung-ho. I actually quite like that from Laxing. That's my new favorite phrase going into this matchup. And I think, yeah, SCARZ, they're more like your cool, calm, collected, chilling out kind of roster.
I actually like the Monty band coming out from SCARZ. I think NA Siege, especially on Nighthaven, plays a lot of Monty, especially with teams like Dark Zero bringing the Monty. SSG is obviously very commonly known to have Forrest, who's one of the best Siege players in the world, I might add. He's a very aggressive Siege player, so just taking it off the board is unlike APAC, I will say, but it'll make SSG actually have to take those gunfights, and I think that's what SCARZ is looking for.
On top of that, this is Space Station's map pick after all, so they've watched SCARZ's game against G2, and they're ready, coming in with some counters.
Pretty keen for this one so far. I think you've made a great point, but I think something I just want to lean into as well is that on the side of the attack, you have kept in all your EMPs despite losing your Hibana, right? So you still have a little bit of range hard breach in the ace, but like clearing stuff like your mirrors, Azamis, that type of thing is going to be a little harder on the side of the attack, and we can see now with SCARZ, they're yelling before running into their defending side. That's exciting.
I like that.
That's really good from SCARZ. They are leaning into that Azami setup on the side of Washoy, and like, yes, you can bring along some of those like ranged explosives, but Hibana can tend to be pretty important the way that you can sort of adjust your Kairos to deal with that.
As we talked about the shields too, Force already showing the blitz, so I'm expecting a very aggressive rush out of them. I will say though, when they were setting up for their game, SSG had almost a different aura around them today. They weren't as excited. It really felt like they were coming in for business. You know, Callout is a heavyweight lifter. He is a previous, I believe, collegiate athlete when it comes to wrestling. It really felt like a gym in there rather than, you know, we're about to play Rainbow.
Maybe that explains a lot of the attitude in all the boot camps and SSG. You know, they shot content when they were actually in the gym as well. And people have criticized them and said, guys, stop focusing so much on lifting weights, focus on getting into the server. But maybe having a less high energy and a more focused attitude is what SSG need.
They are going to take us over into storage and control room for the first bomb side of choice. The only person downstairs will be Fish-like as the rest of SCARZ look to extend their way over in the top floor for their roam. Forest on the other side, though, looking to make what looks like a pretty explosive jump in, but never mind, it's stalled back a little bit. They are having a think about working this IT wall to see if they can then put the pressure down inside of storage.
I don't think SSG was really expecting the bandit trick. It looked like they were kind of trying to just get the wall. They're going to bring the Thatcher and the Ace over to get that. And just like that Monty ban, pay attention to the garage area. That's going to be where Washoy is actually playing there with the Azami. That was probably the only thing they were worried about, is that Monty pushing him out of that position. SSG kind of loves to take position and then rotate at the last minute.
Washoy as well feeling a little bit of that pressure. Now the IT wall has been open, we'll have to vacate that sort of top rafters area and move in towards the garage breach, but even that's being opened by Faults at the moment. Although it has been blocked up slightly, he's going to have to expend another one of those Kiba barricades to close it off.
Oh, a really good opening kill. Hot and Cold goes down. A very aggressive play from Space Station as 2 of them fall. As I say that, a third goes down, and SSG, their chances of locking in this round look very grim.
Oh, absolutely. They just were getting outgunned. We actually saw Ashen try to go through the basement, and it looked like they were trying to deal with Fish-like down there, and Fish-like just ended up winning that 1v1. But on all fronts, the 1v1s that they took did not go in their favor at all. It looks like SCARZ was pretty much ready for it, especially with Shoy. I got to give him props. He's playing in that garage so confidently. I don't see many players playing there, you know, having the confidence to peek out that garage breach.
It's calling for a reset as well from the remaining 2 attackers of SSG. They completely forfeited off the rush that they tried to do in Garage, that mini execute through the mid round, and instead they've gone and flipped over their attack to the other side. Foles is going to try and look for a pick on the top of the cargo stairs, but it's been completely vacated. The nearest player is Pion over on the other side, but even he is down at the bottom of the stairwell, not giving away his life.
I love how SCARZ, you can almost see the change in direction. From super aggression, they got their picks, immediately they're falling back to site. But as we say this, SSG's going for a play.
Faults has gone in, but he doesn't have a lot of options here. He throws out another Candela. There is Pion player right at the bottom of his stairs. Foltz is just desperate here. Oh, here's a big pick for Forest. A nice one taking down Rek. But that is the first of many that will be required. And SSG are so far from this control room bomb site. Foltz sends a Candela in. There are so many corners in this bomb site. He won't even watch out for the flank. Forest caught out. There's no chance he can get to the diffuser, let alone the bomb site. And that will be a nice, quick, and easy lockout in the first round for the Japanese.
It got a little scary. SSG is known for pulling rounds out of nowhere, especially when they're down man count. I feel like they're really good at showing you one way and then pushing the other way. And I think we might have been surprised at how Blitz just got a free kill up in the rafters, but Foltz was downstairs with the Ying, throwing the Candelas, making it look like the site was about to be hit, while Forrest was trying to patrol for a pick. And they got it, and it looked like they were about to set something up, but it was a really nice flank that came out from SCARZ to put Foltz down, and then Forrest was nowhere in sight to be able to trade that.
Counterpoint to that, I mean, think about the way that SCARZ played. I believe it was Bank that they were playing on yesterday. SCARZ have a completely different philosophy to SSG on that. SSG, they know that once their plan A of rush doesn't work in, they can dial it back, freeze, and their final 2 or 3 players can try and claw that round back. SCARZ don't quite have the maturity to do that. Once they've got that plan A and it doesn't work, the remaining players kind of still jump in on it anyway. And I think that's a big difference in maturity between these two teams, to be honest. Unless I know that SCARZ are not on the attacking side yet, but it's going to be something to look out for. Can they replicate that same ability to dial back and have a think that SSG can?
I love how SCARZ played that full round. In my opinion, if SSG isn't able to catch any of these players off, or if they're just getting outgunned, SCARZ, the only way that they could lose some of these rounds is if they overextend, they overpeak, and they let that immaturity get to them. But the way they play that round, falling back to site, pretty much locking off all angles, really ease the round, you know, towards their way.
Here goes J90 on the Thermite, and like we pointed out, all of the anti-hard breach still available for the defense. Having slipped by the ban phase, he's going to require one of the EMPs of one of his teammates, that's Foltz, with the baby ones in his pockets. Off the back of the Lion scan as well, to ensure that the trick's not happening on the other side, and that can be opened up nice and easy.
It kind of gets me a little scared at the fact that they're relying on the bandit, or they're relying on the EMPs just to deal with the bandit. It doesn't look like they're set up in any way to deal with it if Pion did decide to commit to that wall, but he's just going to fall back. And it looks like SSG is going to fully commit with the way they're setting up towards a Raptors clear. I also want to expect J90, he's probably going to hit that green side on the flank or towards garage. He's the player that you look for to make plays against SCARZ.
Tough spot now for Washoy, looking in. Two-way pinch, but oh, there's Tayo on the other side of blue with a double down. Hot and Cold can claim one back, of course, on that down play, but there goes J90 on his entry in through IT and Hot and Cold to try and double back on it.
Yeah, Hot and Cold needs to have an impact here. He sends a drone in, but it is just a bait, looking for some information, trying to find where those traces are coming from. SSG are poised, despite drawing first blood. They do have a chance at getting back into this, and we might see Ashen revived here.
They're going to pick up Ashen towards blue, but it looks like Tayu's going to push up. He heard the revive come out. This is going to be a huge play if he can make it happen, but he's going to walk down the stairs, play it smart. I don't think they have an idea on him, but they're going to be a little careful. I loved how they took Garage against them, especially using that Blitz. Instead of using the Monty, they're using the Blitz to completely push out the Garage area, and that flank that I was talking about was Ashen going through blue. So he got shut down, but he's not out.
And this is good from Hot and Cold off the back of the garage control that you just mentioned. He's not getting overzealous with it. Yes, he's still holding on to that Rafters position, but he's not going to go dry peeking into the bomb site or anything like that. This is where SSG are really good at dialing things back and having a think about the execute, especially now that they're in the man advantage. They don't want to let go of this. Here's Hot and Cold on his approach in towards garage, and it's going to be initiated while one of his teammates flashing his way in.
Yeah, Foltz does find Rek here. There's a good chance for Hot and Cold to open up this round. Pion peeking the corner, lands the kill, and now rounding another corner. Will need to find a second as this SSG player on the inside has flooded into the site. J90 to force down this diffuser. The C4 could have been huge, but he does dodge it just in the nick of time. Pion now has to do it all for SCARZ, but the cover is perfect, and SSG claim their first.
Finally, Ashen was able to get involved there. It looked like he was trying to go up the blue stairs, got a little scared, ended up rotating all the way. I was scared because the round almost could have gone really bad, especially if that C4 connected. And the fact that Ashen ended up, that he came up, he eventually dealt with the last guy. I got to give props to J90. He really jumped in through the E-box rotate. He was able to completely cut off the site so that Forrest was able to get the plant down.
Really good work so far from SSG, especially come to that mid to late rounds. Their planning phase and their pre-execute moments are absolutely excellent. We can see in the replays as well, all players simultaneously going in for the jump in as J90 looks to get that plant down. SSG looking very coordinated in the second round. Now they're going to take us down to the basement for the third bomb site, the second bomb site of choice actually for SCARZ. Of course, they are not going to decide to repeat that top one. I think with the hard breach that went down and the way that SSG were able to break it apart, they're not willing to repeat it. But this is a pretty interesting repick from SSG. I don't know what your take on it is. But
I don't know. It's very strange to see the Blackbeard
as well.
My only guess is I could imagine that they're going to be playing very aggressive in Garage. That's so far been what SCARZ's bread and butter has been doing, is holding down that Garage area. And I think they might bring the Blackbeard to position himself outside of the, we call it trolley, I don't know what the official term is, but on the staircases outside, pretty much playing that head glitch to be able to deal with the Garage player. That's my best guess, and it looks by the way that they're setting up for it, it'll be an aggressive push in that area.
Yeah, you called out exactly right. Hot and Cold making his way straight into storage. Like a rotation hole, and he's completely caught out fish-like. You called it perfectly. SSG with a very fast clear of the ground floor, and they're just going to hop straight back out again. Yeah, they're in and out. I mean, SSG is really good at giving misinformation to the teams that they're playing against. They took it, and now when you're on SCARZ, you're picturing that somebody's going to be holding that position. You put all that resources, you get the pick there, no way you're going to give it up. But instantly, they're almost going to rotate to the top floor of the map and try to deal with the other two roamers that are playing up here instead of progressing towards the site. They might have really isolated the player as well. Go on.
Well, Hot and Cold has managed to find Pion, and Forest in tandem will be able to hack that camera, so this is falling apart for SCARZ. Yeah, I was going to say, I think they've really done a good job in isolating these two roamers on the top floor. They've really only taken one fight at a time as it goes. There's been no opportunity whatsoever for SCARZ to go for the refrag, but there goes Washoy, catching a player with his pants down on his ankles, now taking the door with another one on the other side, but we'll see if he can collect the kill. C4 to go out, not quite close enough to land it. It seems to be looking for this aggressive pick, though. Washoy continuing to peek on through. He can't land the final shot, and eventually the shotgun itself does lose his life. Elsewhere, though, the action has seemingly gone down in favor of SCARZ. Fault's very close to the bomb site here. Blackbeard shield in front of his face. That goes to show how strong that early aggression, getting rid of the mid-floor player who's kind of like the peanut butter and jelly to both pieces of bread. He's kind of trying to just fit everything in, and then you get rid of that player. Nobody was there to be able to assist the top two floor players. They ended up getting pieced up one by one. They couldn't make a connection, and they weren't able to stay alive long enough. Tough spot now for the remaining two players of SCARZ. What are they going to do? Are they going to try and sandwich these two players on cargo? But it actually looks like they're not going to do so. They have the diffuser in their hands, and Rek on the other side wants to fall back, and off the back of all his Legion mines, play it passively. Wait for that audio cue to come through to see if they're going in for the push. His hacked cam gave a lot of information to SSG, but Rex simply needs to win his one. It could turn the game, could turn the round, but he gets flicked on by Faults. And as a result now, low time on the clock, SSG must push through, they must clutch, but both of these players rely on just a sliver of HP, and Tayo in an off angle right around the corner. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to collect the two freest kills. A quick spray for Tayo, and the round for SCARZ. That was a beautiful round. Blackbeard's shield actually ended up saving his life against that fight against Rek. So the fact that the Blackbeard wasn't used for its actual intention and ended up coming in later into play was smart. And I really do like how SSG walked down that staircase. They were trying to use that singular Blackbeard shield as a way to maybe find the opponent and not lose they're both so low in HP. Yeah. I mean, Tayo didn't have to really do too much. He just hides, gets both kills, and he just made it that much nicer with 2 headshots. That was a great dissection of the map, I think, from SSG. You pointed it out earlier, but I think taking out the mid-player fort really allowed them to then translate up and actually isolate the two one-to-ones rather than having to go like into that mini execute and make it scrappy and jump in for it. Can I just say, when you think Japanese culture, you think very quiet and respectful, calm. And then you see these guys when they win a round, and you wouldn't be too surprised if you thought it was an SSG reaction. They are so full of energy. Oh, yeah. I haven't been seeing too much energy out of SSG. Of course, you know, you can't be too happy when you're expecting to go in as one of the favorites and you're already going down 0-2, but I love seeing the energy out of SCARZ. A lot of the teams from the APAC region this event have just been phenomenal, especially energy-wise. You know, Bleed, bringing the fish, SCARZ about to be sending an NA team home. I mean, it's 3 rounds in, mate. Don't get too excited. I will say this is SSG's map pick, and SCARZ only got 1 round of Nighthaven against G2. They've already beaten that here.
Yeah, I mean, Nighthaven is a very defender-sided map. You can definitely take advantage on attack, especially with how big the map is, but I wouldn't be too worried. I mean, if you're going maybe a 2-4 split, you can't be upset, especially if you know your defenses are going to be very strong.
Here goes SSG on their attempt or approach into the map so far. SCARZ have taken us back over to storage and control room as their bomb site of choice, and although SSG have put a little bit of pressure onto the basement, it seems like they're going to shift their focus into the top floor. Pyon is actually ready on the other side this time for the bandit trick to go off. Will he actually be able to land it? I think he's just put it on the wrong side. Oh, Pyon, mate!
Oh, he got it.
That was so close. That was way too close for comfort.
I was talking about this the last round. I mean, they're only bringing EMPs to deal with the bandit trick. If Pyon commits, he can completely shut that wall down, and now you're going to have to pretty much struggle for time, struggle for position. But as I say, that Ashen snuck into E-Box. He's able to get a nice pick onto Wreck. So I bet they weren't expecting a good little response. SSG does a lot of that. It's a give and take battle when you play against SSG.
Washoy being protected by the safety of his own Kiva barricade over on top blue, but he does know that the push is starting to entrench over from the IT side of the map instead. His floor front will probably have to be down blue. Now, I don't know if there's an SSG player there and ready for it, but I can only imagine they've got their focus more shifted in on actually getting this top floor control.
Oh, Washoy almost pushed. Once again, Forest clearing these keeper barriers. Hang on a second. What's this from Fish? Like he's looking the wrong way. Just on the other side of this angle, Janino could open up this round for SSG. He doesn't know it yet, but a quick swing will secure that kill, and a strong man advantage now for SSG as Washoy is feeling the pressure.
SSG did a good job at slowing the tempo here. They knew that SCARZ was going to go for a play. Pyon unexpectedly picking up Ashen. Little damage on a... little chip damage on a Fultz.
Did Pyon ever leave IT? Has he just been like here the entire time because the wall's been closed? Well, SSG, they didn't quite account for that, but what they are thinking about now is that they have the numbers advantage, and if they wanted to, they could floor onto the site. No vertical pressure for Pyon as they start to make their way on in. But there goes Tyro, and there goes Pyon for 2 of their own.
1v2 now for Pyon, but his position was known. He has a C4 to open up a vertical line of sight. He might be able to deny the plan, but SSG are very thorough and they're very cautious about it. They look to relocate. Time is ticking. Still enough for SSG to get it done. Forest is the man who must cover, but he loses his head! Pyon for 2, SCARZ! 3 rounds in the map!
Let's go, boss!
What an incredible round, incredible shots at Pyon. From start to finish, I mean, he played off of Fishlight's flank over by the green staircase. He was able to push himself all the way into IT, completely avoiding drones. He gets the first pick, maintains full top control while SSG is trying to plant. Maybe he could have stopped it from above, but it doesn't matter. He just jumps over, gets 2 easy shots. I mean, not much breakdown to it. He smoked those guys.
Round. Yeah, that was a super Pyon round. Like you said, like he played the utility game perfectly at the start, kept the IT wall closed, and that gave him a little bit of wiggle room over there in the top floor. Even though the rest of his teammates were kind of getting collapsed on at some point, he came to life through the mid round and through the late round too.
So how do you get by that with SSG? You know, you're in a 5v3, you get flanked by a guy you misdroned in IT who ends up 1v2 clutching on you guys. How do you come back from that?
Well, if you're SSG, it all starts with getting the trolley wall open. The fact that they weren't able to get that IT wall open, getting a bandit trick, they didn't really have a response any of these rounds so far for it. They were just lucky at the fact that SCARZ wasn't really trying to contest it too much. Usually with that wall open, a lot of the other members of SSG, if it wasn't properly calmed, are probably just going to assume that it's open. Who would play in there with the wall completely open? Nobody. But because they kept it closed from the start, Pyon was able to play off of his teammates, get in there pretty much undetected, and that ended up winning them the round. SSG didn't really drone it, they didn't really re-clear it, and that so far has costed them these rounds.
SCARZ going to take us up into the top floor, and they're choosing to bring along once again the combination of the Azami and the mirrors. So it's making the interior of the map pretty fortified. And this is where stuff like the Hibana ban for SSG might come back to bite them, right? You've got a lot of stuff that you need that range tower breach to clear that has now been taken away. That, and they haven't brought along the Ace as well. And they don't really have that much in the ways of ranged explosives. Okay, I lied about that. They've kind of got 2 sets of grenades. But I can only imagine with the SSG formula, they're probably going to look to send them up through the floor, right?
Yeah, I think so. They might be able to feed the nades down low. Washoy, again, playing so aggressive up top. I would just want to mention, I love how SCARZ read into this. They know the Bandit won them that last round, so they decided to drop it for the mute for more of a global denial of info. And SSG is able to get the wall open, but they don't have to worry about Pyeon making another game-winning play. But SSG, in regard, also tried to take down low so that they could nade a potential Bandit off. So now that they have that control, I'd expect them to use it. You're going to see Forest downstairs as they start getting open the green wall, and they have kind of a good little pinch set up to it.
This is a very awkward position to flush out for Rek. But Fishlike is looking for a flank. He's the perfect operator for this. Being the Solus, he can check for any pre-placed drones. Previously, a player died on the top of those stairs, but Rek, from his position inside of Connector, finds the kill onto Ashen and falls back immediately. But here come the nades from below, like you said, Mandy.
Yeah, it seems like they're having a clear of the entire bomb site from down and up. And not just that, but I think J90's got a little bit of value out of his Twitch drone as well. I did hear one of the mirror windows pop earlier inside of Connector. So slowly but surely, although remotely, SSG are starting to pick apart the side.
Fishlike still undetected all the way over by the green stairs, kind of rotating over, and Pyeon so close. SCARZ vicinity to each other has been so great, but hot and cold, and J90 are going to commence the Raptors execute.
Yeah, and on the back of that nade, it opens up, a Rek finds a double! How do they keep getting away with this? Looking for another now. Keep a barrier to protect him. He looks to take it down, peeks it with the pistol. Rek has been nuts. Pyeon to close it. 4-1 kills between the two of them. And SCARZ are dominating SSG on SSG's own map pick.
And this is what scared me, right? With the Hibana ban that came out, you could see that they almost went for what was a pretty explosive execute in top rafters, but somehow Rek is there, the IT wall is open behind him, and he goes for the swing out onto rafters, and then there's a player stuck on the balcony because they can't clear in his army barricade. Like, what is going on? The inside of the map is so fortified.
Everybody on SCARZ is firing at full cylinders. In my opinion, you could lose one round to a play like Pyeon made. You're losing 2 rounds to insane plays. That's got to hit the morale, especially as an NA team. I feel like NA teams are so hot and cold, pun intended. So you lose that often. You lose 2 rounds to these plays. It's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole. I feel like they have the right idea some of these rounds, but they just aren't able to execute.
If there's anyone that has the right to make that criticism of NA, it is a guy who plays in the NAL, so I'm glad that we have you here to say that, Fox. But how do SSG come back from this? They're down 4-1 on their attacking side on their own map pick. How do you get your mental back in the place where you can start moving up from here?
The thing is SCARZ has not let SSG set up once, or if they do set up, they always have a response on what player they're going to isolate, what player they're going to fight. You can always see the rest of SCARZ completely rotating to a position to get a free pick, get a potential, and then you're instantly seeing them fall back.
Last pick. Go on.
Sorry, in my opinion, SSG, if they want a chance at bringing this back, they have to win this round. And it looks like they're going to try to open up downstairs garage with the OSA. They have so many C4 set up. It's going to be an ugly sight for Forest if he's behind that shield.
One of those shields is going to be taken down early as well by a C4 pre-ripped by Fishlike. And although the smokes have gone out, it doesn't look like they're executing off the back of that. The thing is, Fishlike knows about it. He's on the pulse, and so he's going to one saying, guys, they're bluffing this. They're not actually going in for the execute, even though they're trying to bait it out.
This does feel like a waste of utility, surely, for SSG. They're pretending to rush, but SCARZ are not taking the bait.
No, it's not a waste. I mean, it may be this round, but SSG loves doing misdirection. They love baiting almost Ying rush sites, smoke sites, almost as if they're going to bring a glass, they're going to hit the site, they're going to bring some type of wacky op to get an advantage and make the roamers fall back down.
Speaking of roamers, that's exactly what's happened now to Rex. So SSG did have the read, but Ashen did not have the mechanics to back it up. He now has to win this fight, but Rex gets the better of him once again. SCARZ start the round with an advantage.
The shots are just not hitting for SSG. They're going for a lot of these 1v1s, which they have been the whole round, the whole game, and there hasn't really been a tempo change from SSG. All they really tried to do this round is start a fake rush and still clear the roamers individually.
Here's this from Rek, continuing his roam. Hot and Cold should know where he is, but he loses his life again. How many 1v1s will SSG gift to SCARZ?
Danger mode now. Player outside the breach as well. That's SCARZ downed by Pion. So that 1-to-1 also going in the way of SCARZ on the D side. Now with the 4-on-2 man advantage, it's looking pretty solid from them. But hey, look, it's SSG. Can they come back from this one?
Oh yeah, this is where they feel most comfortable because they can let loose, really look for those picks. But 4v1, all of SCARZ coming back down the site. I mean, SCARZ is just playing lockdown defense with these man advantages.
Both of these SSG players are very separated, looking for a pick. SCARZ exhibiting extreme restraint here, and a perfect boost angle for Pion. Finds him 1 kill. Foltz can get a trade. 3 more to find, and he is right in the belly of the beast. That's a second one for Foltz. He sees a third, but coming from behind, Fishlike secures a 5-1 half for the Japanese.
Yeah, so I was talking a lot about that 4-2 split. You can't be worried going on to defense, but 5-1, any 5-1 deficit is going to be a mountain to climb to get back into the game.
We've got Mango from SSG on the line with a little bit of insight on how this game's gone so far.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think we were executing on our early round game plan fairly well, actually, except for that last round, honestly. It was really just that late round aggression and ratting from them that was really killing us. So looking to adjust that going into the next match, but right now really just focus on our defensive game plan and bringing it back from here.
Thanks very much, Mango, and good luck in the rest of the game.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Wow, it's a tough time in the SSG camp, but this is only the first map.
I mean, I love to hear that out of Mango. If you notice, he said, we're just going to focus about it going into the next map. So could you argue that they maybe are just chalking this one up, saying, SCARZ, you get one, we'll get the next?
How do you do that on your own map pick at 5-1? How do you call that so early? They haven't even taken a tactical timeout.
I mean, we saw it at the last major. SSG kept doing the same things. We talked about it in the pregame, saying, what do we think they bring differently this time? Do they have more in the arsenal, more to show? And right now, Mango is right. They have been executing the start of their rounds, getting good positioning, getting exactly what they need, but they haven't been able to shut down SCARZ's aggression. And I haven't seen anything different besides the same starts and the same finishes.
Going down to the basement is the first bomb side of choice for SSG, though flipping over to the defending side, it's Forest on the other side of what this will... Oh, okay, never mind. I was going to say what this breach might amount to, but it actually gets impact tricked off by Jano on the other side. So far, Rush stunted.
Oh, there does seem to be some kind of a rush, though, here, Mandy, with that mirror being combated from the Glaz on the other side. However, Rhett goes down early, the player that has been on fire in this game. 10 kills so far, and he must sit down for the rest of the round. Ashen, looking for one. He spots the Blitz, and he says, okay, it's my time to get out of here. He falls on back, but Pion's actually made his way inside.
Plan potential now for Pion. Oh, but there was 2 cap gun traps there.
Oh, no.
It's downed him, but not out. But the C4 can finish him off from Forest. 5-on-3, now advantage to SSG.
And restraint is being shown by SSG. They won't overpeak, but that said, Ashen did not fall back far enough, and he is traded. Only a 1-player advantage now for SSG.
Bringing up Blitz and Glaz, they obviously have a direct setup. So these adaptations to kind of send the Blitz to deal with the top pressure, which is one of the main things that could deny a plant, and still going for that aggressive plant, almost looked like it was going to work. But those 2 Kapkan traps, they weren't paying attention to them. They know there's a Glaz, they're not going to peek it. So they just finish the guy out with a clean C4, but at least they got top floor control. So you could say this is a fair trade if they're able to buck the right angles and get the right position. But they only have a couple more smokes, and nobody's behind the Glaz to plant.
And Tayo's very low HP as well.
They do kind of have the time to do this. I'm kind of on board at the moment with what Fox is saying. They have just potentially the right amount of utility with 1 more smoke on the Glaz to make something work. They've got this player pinned down as well. Foltz on the other side. They know that he's pretty stuck where he is at the moment. Fishlike is going to try and piggyback off the back of one of the smoke grenades thrown out from Tayo, but no one is over-peeking onto him.
Great discipline from SSG. This is what we like to see. This is the change of pace that we were talking about. Going from super fast, always peaking, trying to get those advantages, to now just a standstill, waiting for them to make the play.
And here they go. That is the play indeed. Fishlike cover of the smoke takes down Forest, but critically, the diffuser is being planted, and SSG let it go by. Washoy to take down Foltz. This post-plant, despite 2 players of SCARZ being low HP, is nigh impossible for SSG. Match point seeming imminent now for the Japanese. Genino will find a pick, and in fact a second down as well. And they might know it in just a second. 23 seconds on the clock, leaving Washoy in the 1 versus 2. Onus on him now to cover. He spots the first, takes him down. A 1v1. An impossible task for J90. He has to make a miracle happen, but Washoy clutches the round. SCARZ got 7-1'd by G2, but they're up 6-1 against SSG.
We talked about that trade, shutting down the original push, switching to the adapt. They get rid of Ashen, they get full top control. They are a man down, but they had enough utility to make it work. I really thought SSG would have something set up for that plant. The plant just went right down in the middle of the window, but I think they were playing off of sound too much, and they didn't want to peek that glass to potentially give another pick. But inevitably, they got the plant down, and that's a really well-played 2v1 by Washoy.
And that's a big difference from the SCARZ that we saw yesterday to the SCARZ that we saw today. SCARZ, overnight, have had a chat about the way that they play and are saying, okay, the way that we're approaching some of these attacks, some of the pacing, is just not that smart. Today, they are showing a step up in maturity, even against a team like SSG, who are sort of the masters at timing, at pacing, at setting that tempo. They are beating them out their own game right now.
And now a timeout called for SSG. 6-1 down. There were so many opportunities to take a timeout before this, but only now does Callout have a chance to talk to the team.
A lot of these rounds are coming down to the wire, but it just feels like SCARZ all the time.
Compromised.
It's fine margins, details, as some might say.
Details.
As Glaz himself would say in that operator video. Man, that's a throwback. What would Callout have needed to say to the team to get SSG back into this fight? I'm completely lost for words.
I mean, I think Callout definitely said blue 42, zone defense, extra crank. Something along the lines of that. We won't know what it means, but they might know. Maybe it gets them extra round.
So you're saying that SSG have got like codes for their defenses?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if
What?
there's ever going to be a listen-in, they
10 seconds
really
to
do
insertion.
have kind of like football-esque codes.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
5 seconds.
Damn,
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool. I didn't
I've
know
heard
that.
crank before. That just
Crank,
means
yep.
go for it, right?
Crank, I think it
Objective is to locate a
essentially
bomb and
means who's
defuse
going to be making the play or who's going to be getting aggressive. Usually, it's asked in the round. They don't have it preset. Early aggression. That's what you needed, honestly.
Nice one from Faults to open up the round onto wreck of all things as well. That is your Ashe going down. So not the most mission critical bit of utility, but when you are playing against that like Azami Castle combination, it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt for the attack. And now they've got to find some other options with the remaining players. It does seem like a Maverick trick onto the IT will be the first point of contest for them. Oh, not just that as well, but they really only have Pyon on the other side of the hard breach as well with the ace. So once this gets open, they can go and rotate Pyon over to Con for an option as well. But it makes me wonder where they're going to put Tayo on the blitz. Are they going to look for the point of least resistance, or are they going to send themselves in? Hot and Cold as well is actually going to fully reinforce off the rafters as well. What's your interpretation of that?
SSG has a pick. They're bringing the Solus. I think they're really trying to rely on the enemy team taking Garage and taking IT and then maybe flanking up through below, playing that Solus for the denial. There's a couple options of what they could do, but I think SCARZ, if they get that Garage control, if they're able to ace open the wall, there's no wall denial from SSG, which if they get the ace right here and completely open up this triple wall, it's going to get scary, and they'll have to be, the main focus will be Aqua Stairs or Blue Stairs. You have to be able to hold that if you're SSG, or you're going to completely get pinched in the sight.
Taking the path of least resistance, I like that from SCARZ. They've realized that the control has been forfeited to them, but although there is an absence of wall denial, there are still impacts in the hands of Hot and Cold. Now he's used both of them, but so has Pyon. He's used both of his Selma charges as well. Now with that minute ticking down, the focus is going to start to shift over towards the top of the blue stairs. There goes Pyon with a bit of a duel with a player on the other side. Doesn't quite land the shots. Not only that, but SSG have pulled back even more. They reinforced off the connector wall, making sure all their back is covered.
Absolutely. All the setup, like we said on blue, they have Ashen and Fultz hold up for it, and it looks like SCARZ is going to make their way over with the blitz, and that's where they're going to try to find their opening. There's such a little amount of time, and if they're not ready for Fultz, but a player's going to go from below, Fultz is going to be pushed up. The blitz get taken down with a pump. Fishlike is going to get the trade on the Fultz on the stairs, and now Ashen goes for the aggressive play. He gets one. He's got the pump on Warden. He gets three. And now it's a 4-on-1. Pyon with 30 seconds, no case. It looks so far away, and this is the round, the crank that we were talking about.
Damn. Gotta say, Fox, not bad seeing Ashen step up and pump down 3 SCARZ players. I'm so glad it was our North American caster that voiced it as well.
I was going to say, that's not bad from you. That was very good.
Do you want my job, mate?
That felt good. That felt good.
John 1v4, he's not even going to give it a crack. It's a lost round for SCARZ. And hey, Fox, you said maybe Mango was implying that SSG had thrown away this map, but they are certainly fighting for it tooth and nail.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a little bit of friendly banter. I do think if you can win a game, you're never going to give up a game, especially at SSG with their mentality, always being in it until the last play. I like two very big plays that we need to highlight on that round. Fultz going for that early spawn peek, and obviously Ashen cranking. Those are the two biggest things that we have to note. If they can keep up those plays, I genuinely think they could bring it a little closer. SCARZ, it's their game to lose.
I think it's certainly right, especially going over to the attack. I think you alluded to very early on in the game that at the moment the game is rather defender-sided, even on the map like Nighthaven. And so I think SCARZ, now that they've gone through that side switch, they are being tested a little more by SSG. I don't know what SCARZ need to do here to really, I guess, find like, do they really need to make a big important change is the real question I'm trying to ask here.
I think when players and teams get to that match point, they're always looking for that big play, that big change like you just mentioned. I think if SCARZ wants to close this map out, all they have to do is exactly what they've been doing. They've been isolating and playing the 2v1 situations that SSG are allowing them. It does look like SSG on defense is playing very reserved. They reinforced rafters off. They played together on the blue stairs, and that's inevitably what gave Ashen the gunfights and the potential to clutch such a huge round and get so many of those big kills. SCARZ has to go back to kind of playing those isolations, getting those picks, and going slow.
So what you're saying is they should just play Rainbow Six, not overthinky.
Yeah, essentially. Just do what got you to 6 rounds.
Here they go on their approach into the map. The bomb site is storage and control for SSG on what could potentially be their 3rd point in the game. It does look like they are looking for a pretty ambitious extension of the map as well. Not only are they extending into the basement with Forrest on the poles, we're on board with him at the moment, given the info that there is in fact no one outside of storage. They're not looking for something too early while the rest of his teammates are over in the top floor.
I'd be real scared if I was Forrest right now downstairs. It looks like Wishoy is getting set up, and I don't think they're about to see each other.
Ooh.
Bro, what's going on? Forrest, wake up! You've got that heartbeat sensor, and you should have seen that there's a sledge just around the corner. He does spot him eventually, but a few taps with that UMP will take down Wishoy. And a great start there for SSG. Once again, they have the first pick.
Well played from Forrest, just nearly avoiding death. He was able to get the kill on the player with the nades from below. The pulse is the scariest factor when it comes to a storage defense. You can't plant really anywhere with that pulse up. So now that they know, hey, we have no one dealing with Forrest down here, he's getting free information on everybody pushing into garage right now.
They need to go deep. I think you've called it exactly right, and there's Fish like to at least back one up for SCARZ, having lost the first pick, of course. And he's going to send a little bit of a Candela inside of storage, but no one off the back of it. No entry just yet.
Just patience from SCARZ. They know that they don't need to make the move as of yet. They're waiting for SSG to put a foot wrong, to punish, to get the numbers advantage so that they themselves can flood into the site. And on the back of a Candela, Tayo tries but fails to do so. Rek now pushing upstairs. Oh, he saw for just a moment the tail end of J90. Re-peeking now, a dangerous affair. J90 survives the engagement.
SCARZ need to find a pick here if they want to plant. They can't go deep. They can't go to the one spot where you can plant safely. SSG has a really strong crossfire, but Pion will be putting himself in a 1v1 potentially if he pushes against Ashen.
I must say, at every stage of the round, SCARZ so far have lost the attrition game, but with only 25 seconds left to go, they need to make something work. They need to look deep in the strat book, in the playbook to see what they can find, and Rek is going to be there to kick things off.
Looking for a second, the diffuser caught on the ground, hot and gold. Here's the jump in, he finds Fish-like. Rek needs to have a huge round now. 3 players, and he will fall. SSG are not done yet.
That crossfire we were talking about onto the window is hot and cold and Fultz, both on opposite ends of that window. They tried to push into storage and deal with Fultz, and they did. But they didn't know that hot and cold was just next door in the forklift hall. He shut down the planner. Just when they thought they got that foothold into the site, they lost it.
And now for SCARZ, it's about regrouping. You've said it. They, one, 6 rounds already. All they need to do is win 1 more, keep up that game plan. The crossfire was so challenging. A lot of these ones are also going in favor of SSG. A lot of the info games seems to be going in favor of SSG. And that kind of energy is what we need more of from Ashen and the boys.
I think, like you pointed out, it's about closing out the games at this point. And I think for SCARZ, I feel like in that last round, they almost had the formula, you know? Like, take what control you can get. They did work Garage, and they even got Rafters control at some point. It was pretty unfortunate, I would say, for Washoe to lose that 1 versus 1 early on to Forest. But I would say that SCARZ are slowly but surely leaning back into the just problem solve the map a little bit. We are going to go back down to the basement as well, and it does look like SCARZ, based off the back of that idea, are going to commit to a full map clear. Not only have they brought along the Jackal on Wreck, but they're going to double down on roam clearing operators with Pion as well on the Dokkaebi. Oh, but here goes Hot and Cold.
What an angle.
He did look away at just the wrong moment as well. Second guessed himself, and he wasn't able to correct in time.
I agree with you. I think these rounds are getting really close, even though they're looking like SSG all the time. If Forest is the one that goes down last round first, it definitely could have been SCARZ' round win, and the game could have been over. So the fact that these monumental rounds are very looking one-sided, these little minute details are what are causing SSG to stay in the game.
SCARZ pushing us through the early game as well. Wreck going to be the first point in the building. Of course, on the Jackal, you do want to inject that player inside to fully utilize his gadget. A C4 to be sent up through the floor. It doesn't quite connect, but at least Feltz has got an angle to try and deal with it now. The Dokkaebi will ring out, and it will give away a position down below. That's Feltz now having to pull off through the floor. Ashen as well, creating a rotation off for himself just in the nick of time. Safety from Wreck.
I love how they played this last round compared to this round. It looks like all of SSG understand that they're getting cleared right now, so they're all trying to run down. Ashen getting picked off, trying to make it back down to site, but the rest of SSG is able to securely get there with a 4-4 man count with 1:30, so they definitely stalled a little bit of time, and SCARZ don't even have control of the middle floor yet.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Even though they have made that mini execute work in on the top floor, and even though they've got 1 on the cutoff, they still need to send Washoe from the top floor all down to the ground floor. But here's Feltz. Thank you, Observer. Good catch. 1 player still inside of the ground floor, and with the Jackal being taken off as well, surely Feltz goes unchecked.
Washoe here, he seems suspicious that there may still be a roamer at large, but who on earth would check that little entrance? Pion certainly didn't. He sent his drone right past. The camera has seen it. So they know that SCARZ have droned the area, but still do not have any information on Feltz's position. There's a big pick, though. Forest goes down for Fish-like, and SCARZ have the numbers advantage. That means Feltz needs to have an impact here.
He has the game-winning position, and now he's going to finally make his move, trying to clear out storage. They're unaware of him, completely unchecked. The Buck's going to be the first person in his contact. He's going to take him down with the plant denial spot. So if SCARZ don't deal with him, it's going to be an ugly sight for trying to go for a plant.
They have to pivot. They're actually going to pivot in towards the bomb site. Potential mistake if they want to go in for a plant as they encapsulate around the bomb site. They're certainly starting to feel the gravity of the remaining 2 players. And Fishlike's just seen someone around the corner.
There's information. Pion might be able to get a wall bang, might be able to see the position. He just needs to support his teammate. Fishlike goes in, but he's the last one left. 1v2 now, and he can't find the second. SSG is starting to make this comeback work.
The longer this game goes on, the more stressful it gets for SCARZ.
The mental residue is definitely going to reside for quite a long time. Every single round that goes by, it gets worse. And for SCARZ, even though they committed to one idea, I liked that they actually dedicated all 5 players in on that roam clear, cut off, easy as you do it, method step by step. They missed out on the 1 winning play, and that was Feltz inside of the ground floor. And as soon as he had that, it closed off all those execute options for SCARZ as they made their way in.
And when you get a 5-1 defense half and you win your first attack, you're up 6-1. How do you let that slip? This has been 3 in a row for SSG. They've woken up. SCARZ are starting to look shaky.
SCARZ, the first round, once getting match point, looked like they were trying to go for those big hero plays, but they are going back to basics. They're going back to exactly how they were winning and got themselves to this match point. But SSG is really tightening up. The individual plays that they're making, that the individual players on this team are making, especially Fultz with that just completely getting unnoticed, it's got to be scary for SCARZ. If you're misdroning people and still losing the rounds that you're keeping basic, When you're a pro player, when you're in this position, I don't know what to do, you know? You can't call a play, you can't call a rush, and you can't call a default. If nothing's working, nothing's working. So where do you go from nothing?
Well, for SCARZ, it looks like a pretty direct attack into the bomb site. They're bringing along the combination of the double hard breach as well as the EMPs on Washoe as well. So they do want to directly contest the minigame against Hot and Cold, the bandit, on the other side to try and deal with the hard breach that's going down. Not just that, but they've also brought along 2 sets of grenades on both Fishlike and Wreck as well. So it makes me think that they are just looking to dislodge remotely the bomb site. Very slowly but surely, they want to be able to be in a position where they have walls open, the defense feels uncomfortable, and they can send in that utility to see how many picks they can get.
SSG is also playing very reserved and forcing SCARZ to make the mistake, which they have been. If you're SCARZ, you kind of have to find a pick, you have to find an opening to get you that momentum in a round.
An untraded one as well, right? The idea of like bringing along grenades like that is if you send the grenades up or even in, it's not in a position where it can be traded.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see how this bandit comes into play because they just brought Thatcher for it and it doesn't look like they're playing the same way that SCARZ were using the bandit.
Success on the con wall does mean that they're going to rotate their hard breach over to the IT wall instead and get that one open, but instead Hot and Cold's fallen back a layer and he's put the electrification over on the mirrors instead. So even though SCARZ have done work getting the exterior open, they now need to work on the squishy insides.
And what ended up being the difference maker the last time they played this attack was Ashen playing at the top of blue stairs. I wonder whether we'll see that again.
I'd imagine to see a flank from SCARZ here. I really love what they're going to do with this mirror. I think as soon as they get a pick, they're going to reinforce it off and play the bandit on it.
Oh, there is a pick, but unfortunately for SSG, it was J90 who fell first.
You lose your E-box player. It's not the biggest thing to lose in the world, but Fultz downstairs with the denial. When you're the site players and you have a player in this game-winning position, all you have to do is stall enough time so that the pulse can inevitably win you the round.
Hot and Cold in a dangerous position now. Not sure whether to reinforce the wall next to him because he knows there could be a player on the other side at any time. But with only 45 seconds left to go, the power of Fultz only grows stronger down below as he gets unchecked. Here goes Washoe on his tango with Forrest on the other side, but there goes Fishlike as well to try and clear that position. That's Hot and Cold going down. Now Pion can move on in. 30 seconds left to go though, and they still don't know that Fultz is down below. They're not going to be able to get the plant off without it going unchecked, but oh, Fishlike goes hunting.
Ashen on site needs to have an impact felt here by SSG as SCARZ start to move on inside. Pion is in plant position, but guess who is down below? It's Fultz with the round-winning play, but could it be a game-equalizing play? He is being hunted down below by Fishlike, and he dies! SSG now need another form of plant denial, but it may be too late. Ashen round in the corner, finds one. It's a retake on for Ashen. 1v2. He knows exactly where that plan has been made. With Fishlike below, it's up to Washoe to close the game. A slap in the face of NA. SCARZ take the first map.
And what a clinical map as well from SCARZ. It looked a little bit scary come the second half, but they finally managed to clean one back. They got back into the Rainbow Six formula and they closed it out.
SCARZ with one map away from surviving. SSG with one map until death. Map 2 coming up on the other side of this break.
Hey, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. If you want to get ready to confront the next addition to the Siege roster, here are a few advice. Maverick's Flaming Gadget might be that one tool you can always rely on when it's time to melt through the enemy's defense. Training your sharpshooter skills, and more specifically, with gadgets like Zophia's Lifeline, will come in very handy when it comes to countering the effect of her fresh new face. Finally, it wouldn't be Siege if explosions didn't have an impact on your game. And this season is the perfect moment to review your frag throwing skills, because a well-placed bang might just be what you need to clear you and your team a path to victory. That's all for now, but make sure you tune in to the full reveal to get all the information on what's coming next season. See you there.
Hello, it's Mugli from Worlds.
I'm Doki from G2 Esports. I'm NJR and I play for Dark Zero. and I'm ready to play some Drone in the Unknown.
Doki, NGR, watch out, I'm gonna beat you.
I'm gonna beat Mowgli. That's no problem.
I could definitely beat G2.
Okay, it's like a toilet or a sink. Ooh,
This box là, on the right side.
I've seen this before.
It's blue stairs on bank.
It's gotta be bank.
Ah, I know. Blue stairs.
Yes, I knew it. Oh wait, where's the sink? Ah, I didn't know there was a sink there.
After seeing that, I'm confident for the rest of it.
Club kitchen.
The brick wall on the back is like, that's the whole theme of Clubhouse.
That's kitchen on Clubhouse.
No. I'm not playing in kitchen. I play in my room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
To be honest, I should know them all. If I don't know them all, I'll be embarrassed. Oh no, I've spoke way too soon.
I think it's pink, but I'm not sure.
I'm seeing a painting.
It feels like it's a big room.
I'm not looking at the actual paint, I'm looking at the stuff around it.
Oh, this is Tellers on Border.
Or is it consulate?
Bank lawyer's office, I guess.
I'm gonna say that it's Border, Teller's Archives.
Hey, it's what I said.
You said?
I said, no? I said border, big room, tellers.
Oh, it was! Oh! Yeah, the ceiling. That's genius. That's genius for me.
Number 4. I'm seeing like a trophy case, some guns in them.
It's Pirates des Caraïbes.
So it's a gun cabinet, but the thing that I'm focusing on is the walls behind it. It's a very strange kind of brick.
Like, you know, it's like, trophy glasses, you know.
That's Chalet Trophy.
I'm pretty sure it's Chalet Trophy.
I'm right. Not surprised.
Oh, yes!
Oh, it's trophy. Let's go.
Oh, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. That is in consulate outside the garage breach.
Pretty sure it's consulate garage.
Consulate, garage. So easy. I'm not sure.
Let's go. That's how it's done.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the major.
SCARZ wins map 1 7-4, and their energy, dynamic, electric. Honestly, you can just feel it, I feel like. And fresh, the clutch plays. Where do we even begin with that?
Oh, I don't know. 2 back-to-back clutches coming out of SCARZ, and that's got to be a real old tilter for SSG. First and foremost, we see Tayo with a very late play at the bottom of X.
He didn't even realize he killed the second guy. He went to make the adjustment, but already shot him on the transfer.
Dead. And then this play here from Pion manages to find an insane shot and the one onto the planter. And crucially, it's not just the 2 clutches. It's the 3rd round after that where they SSG concede a huge play to Wreck inside of the catwalk here, inside of the garage, gets a free K, actually gets a quad kill on the round. And it's got to be so tilting because that's 3 individual plays.
And that's the thing. When you're in a situation like that, and from the player perspective, when you lose one round that you should win, sure, whatever, wipe it off, go to the next. But then you immediately lose it the next round, and in a worse way, that mentally exhausts you. And then you go into the 3rd round right after to a quick 4K. I mean, I got a feel for SSG there. Like, it doesn't matter what team you are, how mentally, strong you are, your mental fortitude is. Losing those back to back to back, it's exhausting. It drains you. It doesn't necessarily tilt you. I think a team like SSG, they don't get tilted, but it definitely is mentally exhausting.
I would say that's discouraging. You're like, do you think they can bounce back from that? But okay, so maybe that's not discouraging, but add on to that the energy that we're seeing from SCARZ. And frankly, I thought they were being proactive and making smart decisions as well, Fresh.
Yeah, that's the thing about this team is the energy. We mentioned it in the pregame. Yeah. It was so different. Yeah. I've covered every single game SCARZ I've had in this Swiss stage, and their energy has been low, like I said. Nice, respectful. They've been smiling, saying hello to people, being really nice people. Before this game, they got loud. They got energetic. They are up for this.
It's disrespectful around here with the things that they're doing. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're hype. But
I don't know Japanese, but I know they're going.
I know what they were saying. I mean, I don't know what they were saying, but I can only assume like these guys don't stand a chance. They're horrible. We're better. Well, this is why we're better. I mean, Peon's getting clutches. I mean, it's all over the place over here. But I love that energy, though. Yes. I love to see that from them, especially a team that you're used to just seeing be so quiet. I love to see the screaming, the hype, the yell. That's what gets everyone going, and it just makes winning every single round that much more enjoyable.
Gabe, I just remember they just like were so loud, and you were like dead silent. You're like, their energy is on another. No, the vibes are on another level. That's what you said.
They were always quiet and respectful, and now like I like to see this. I like to see that hype. I mean, I don't know if they're being disrespectful. I'm just going to say they're being disrespectful, but I love it. I love it nonetheless.
Yeah, but we could talk about their energy all day. But let's talk about the maps a little bit. That information up on the screen now. We're moving into map 2. How are we feeling about that?
So Clubhouse was the map that I was not confident for SSG in.
Okay.
Because they lost it yesterday. They should have, and only just got over Bliss when they played against them as well. So SSG not too hot on this map, even though it was an old favorite of SSG, I would say a long time ago. The map doesn't lend itself to the way that SSG necessarily want to play, even if they do play it and it is in their map pool.
Well, listen, I don't want to switch my prediction by any means, but I will say this because me and Fresh were talking about it, is with SSG, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt of going into this next map, but it seems like every single time I'm seeing them play and talking to even their coach or something like that, they tell me, they have all this prep, they're all ready to go, but then they get into the match and it just doesn't seem like that prep is at least being implemented. Because when I look at SCARZ, I mean, that first game when we saw them play against G2, and compared to this game, completely different play style, completely different dynamic. And for that reason, it's just like SSG really needs to, whatever that prep is, maybe throw the prep out the window. Yeah. Just play.
And we said that after their first game in Swiss stage as well, is they tried too hard to counter BDS. I wanted to see SSG play SSG's game.
And they have to. This is it. If you lose here, you're done. You're going home. You're being sent home by the team that sent you home the first time. Do you want that to happen again? No. So it's just like, do you throw
team out the tournament as well?
Do you want to throw? Just throw the prep out the window. Play.
Okay, so jumping ship is going to be a 2-0.
No, I'm not jumping ship. I'm not jumping ship.
Okay.
I'm still going to say SSG, but maybe let's not rely on the prep that much. Let's just focus on playing the game and play the fundamentals that need to be played.
When you backed into a corner, which SSG are, you can either lay down and die or you could come out swinging.
Okay, well, let's see what actually happens on map 2 Clubhouse and send it back to Dev, Mandy, and Fox with the TriCast.
Thank you very much, Jackie Jing and the guys on the desk. It is time to get stuck into map number 2, Clubhouse. This is SCARZ's map pick, and, well, as you can see, they have dominated this social prediction. Maybe domination is not quite the right word for it, but I'm getting a little bit excited, Mandy. SCARZ are up 1-0 in the series, and SSG have a long way to go to take this to map 3.
I mean, look, I know they didn't cut to cams when we went into this map, but we are dripped out in the JP merch at the moment. So, look, I think what we've got a favorite going into this. Thankfully, we've still got Fox here with us for map 2.
Hey guys, how's it going? I really love to see the energy at SSG in those last couple of defenses, but they need to start off hotter this game. They can't let it go down to 6-1 off the start.
Yeah, it was a pretty grim beginning for SSG, but like you said, they did make a decent comeback. 7-4, down from a 5-1 first half. That's nothing to be too ashamed of. However, they will be a little bit rattled going into map 2, knowing that they lost their own map pick.
They just got to focus on exactly what Lax said. Obviously, they can't hear him, but exactly what Lax was saying is if they focus less on the prep and focus on playing their game, they looked better when they had the individual plays and these pop-off players playing like themselves than really hypo-analyzing SCARZ.
Don't overthink it.
Exactly. Don't overthink it.
I'm going to make you do a bit of overthinky for me, though. What's your interpretation on the popularity of banning Ying? Why Ying?
It's really surprising because SSG is a team that loves playing Ying. They love playing Ying, Blitz, Monty, Glaz, all of the crazy operators, the cheese operators. So them banning it out must mean that SCARZ has something cooked up with the Ying, or that they've done in the past. It's not a little surprising. It's not too surprising, but coming from SSG, I mean, any other NA team I'd expect it, but SSG, they love Ying. So they must be comfortable getting rid of it.
Well, the surprising ban to me here is actually the knock. It's very uncommon these days, but with
That's a hot and cold ban, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. SSG loves having that knock wrapping through Moto, going down the main stairs. You're able to catch off a lot of picks with the knock just because there's not too many cams that you can play off of, and if you have a knock that can slide all the way down main on a basement hold, get into Moto, that could completely devastate a round. Or going up red on a cash round, that could be a completely devastating round.
I think the important thing here with the ban phase is that the 2 injection operators have been taken out for SSG. Although they are not starting out on the attack, it's actually SCARZ that will begin on the attack instead. That being said, we do see Pyeon actually go in for the repick onto the Ossa as well. Now, we've seen SCARZ do this before. They have this magic trick over down in the basement where they like to send the Ossa down with the hatch drop later, along with all the utility, so that they can't be shot as they go down for the hatch drop by the player, like playing back Arsenal or something like that, right? Or back AK, sorry.
It is a good idea to get in. You don't see too much of that in NA. I wonder how SSG will deal with it. Usually, I'll be looking for the player that plays B3. Usually, there will be a player there with a C4 that could potentially deal with the Ossa. Sorry, I don't know why I almost just said Ossa exactly how you guys say it with accents. Been around you guys too much.
Apparently Ossa is correct, though. I've asked Medics, our Croatian observer, and of course also the Croatian operator. Apparently Ossa is the correct way. We're just terrible. Hey, he's in my ear right now. He's saying it's Ossa.
Ossa. Fair enough.
Alright, here goes Ashton on his roam all the way in the top floor, double drones at the moment, inside a garage as well. So SCARZ, they do have some understanding that there is a player on the top floor. Double entry as well, both Washoy and Rek have entered into the building at the same time. Janano as well, inside of stock, will be that sort of middle ground sandwich roamer as the entries start to come through. There goes Rek on the other side of the garage window.
Does he know? Does Ashton know? He's so close. He swings the corner and easily takes down Rek. The trade is quick, though, and Washoy is able to even the numbers.
That's a good 1-for-1. I think Ashton taking that out, he wasn't really going to be able to get downstairs. They have Tayu already locking off connector, so he was pretty much stuck there. Going 1-for-1 is a good trade. It sets up the rest of SSG, who's playing inside bar and stock, to be able to roam there a lot longer. Wow, Forrest outside the map.
Is he stuck? I mean, how is he going to be able to fall off here? I think Motor Hatch is closed for him, so he's got to go down to bottom main. But Fishlike is here for the cutoff. They're also going to send in a drone to reconfirm his position as well. So Forrest is in a do-or-die situation at the moment. He takes a little bit of HP. A player on the other side, but it's actually Fultz to help him out.
Yeah, Fishlike going down in the hallway is perfect. It's exactly what they needed. I'm not sure what information there was other than sound, but losing the Hibana as well so early in the round, on top of getting a man advantage, it's everything that SSG could hope for.
The communication between Forrest and Fultz there to use that C4 in the kitchen hall, especially when Forrest was trapped, was beautiful. I was scared because I didn't think Fishlike was going to be able to get that shot if he ran back. He decides to push in, which is the great play behind the drone. And Fultz's C4 with Forrest's communication, that was just a perfect play C4. No information other than your teammates' comms.
40 seconds away and ticking as well. Washoy only now we're starting to make work through the vertical onto the floor, and that means that the back of Arsenal has now been vacated. But this is where Pion starts to matter. Come through the execute phase. Are they going to dedicate themselves to the kitchen hatch drop? No, they won't. They don't have the hard reach for it anymore, and they need to pivot and go for something down blue.
Smoke to try and cover up that mirror window, but this is very desperate now for SCARZ. SSG in a straight shot position with Fultz just holding on to Dirt Tunnel. Washoy, a good nade here, but it doesn't quite land. He almost gets a shot off, but Pion finds the opener coming to support. Washoy gets one as well. Oh, how does it happen like this? Washoy's gone down to the Capcan trap. Pion looking for the plant, but Fultz can clutch the round for SSG. Far closer than it should have been, but the American roster just steal their nerve and steal the round.
That was a little too close for comfort. A little too close for comfort. The cap cans, finally, the cap cans coming into play. The ones on Moto, the ones in bar didn't hit anybody, but the ones on dirt, they got the pick on the dirt player. I don't know how they were able to push through blue. You'd think that would be impossible, but the fact that they were able to walk in with the Osa, not only get the picks and make it that close, thank God they were low HP for Fultz. It was an easy 2v1 for him.
Oh my god, the SCARZ players have actually got like a physical strap book like on the desk with them. Oh my gosh.
The printouts.
Yeah, go back to analog.
Have you seen SSG's desk?
No.
They literally will print out like their enemy strats and they just have them like Google Docs. They have like a bunch of.
Oh my god.
You'll literally see them just on their desk whenever it cuts to their camera.
What's the ruling? Sorry, I know maybe shouldn't be asking this on the desk, but you're a player. Once you hit land, what's the ruling about like what you can have open?
I think you're allowed to have any type of book, any type of piece of paper. So obviously no phones, no iPads, no computers, just piece of
paper. So it has to be analog, all your notes.
Yeah, essentially.
It can't be digital at all. Oh, really interesting. Oh, anyway, sorry. Side note, I was very curious about that one. We're going to go over to CCTV and Cash for the second bomb side of choice for SSG, having won out the basement, leaning into the Izami. Well, my combination set up going into rafters will make it a little more tricky for SCARZ to clear up. That being said, they have brought along 2 sets of grenades and double hard breach as well. So if they want to do a multifaceted push, they certainly can. But the first minigame they'll need to play is over on the CCTV wall. It is going to be Forest with Bandit on the other side, and they have brought along the EMPs on Tayo.
The aggression from SSG at the start of these rounds have been amazing so far. Really making sure SCARZ knows who they're playing against, forcing them to respect each other. Bandit Trick's gonna come out. I think it's gonna get the Thermite, but it won't be able to get the Ace. That's a fair trade. Thermites are always a lot harder to fight against when they get the wall open with it, but when an Ace is on it, it's a small hole. It's not the worst thing in the world to deal with.
They're still going to dedicate an exothermic charge to the wall anyway, so they do want this to be an entry hole come later on in the rounds regardless. That, or maybe the breach player just likes the right side open. I don't know, it could be a preference thing as well. Meanwhile, the rest of SCARZ are starting to work this con side of the map. There goes Ashton, aggressive in their mid-game, going out onto Wreck, but he's going to take him down. Meanwhile, though, Fultz still in the ground floor. Could do some dirty business come later on in the round if SCARZ aren't ready for it.
Hang on, that's the Echo they just lost.
Oh, no way.
Absolutely, yeah. I think obviously he saw an intuition play. It looks like SSG is really trying to play with their aggression right now. Can't be mad about a play like that that doesn't go well. Hot and Cold's gonna try and trade it back. It's not gonna work, but Fultz with this angle from bottom kitchen. He might get stuck here if they get that angle onto main stairs.
Yeah, and they do indeed have the gridlock track stingers to cover him off on that flank. J9 in a bit of an awkward position as he's going to lose his key, but barriers. He will use another one to secure his retreat back to the bomb site.
Solus has used her impacts now, so you can't rely on her being able to stop the plant. They do have one C4 on Bandit, but you can't, again, rely on the communication between the two to be what guides you through that plant. If both players are downstairs and they decide to push the site or go deep, it's going to be really difficult to stop that plant.
I mean, do they have to make a play here? They're in such a numbers deficit. Like, do they have to get aggressive before the execute comes through?
They're going to have to make a play on one of the areas, and it looks like that's what they're leading up to do, is retaking connector.
And here goes Fultz, close on the connector door, but with only 30 seconds left to go, SCARZ have got to start to press the attack. They want to play in these off angles. That's what SSG wants to do, and Forest, like you pointed out earlier, is going to be the sole C4 from down below, but there goes Washoy on the backstab.
One pick for SCARZ, 2 more to find. A nade almost lands, and J9 is finally cut down. Fultz, don't do this to me. 1 kill, 2 kills, but stabbed in the back by Pion. Trigger discipline, restraint shown. A setup beautiful for an amazing moment, but it just doesn't quite work out.
You never expect a third one. You never expect the third one. One, maybe two, but a third? Not too often. You know who wasn't being expected is Forrest, when he went downstairs, was not expecting that sledge front door. And that is honestly where it costed them. Because you have to assume that somebody's going to be playing downstairs, especially if you have 5 players up like SCARZ did. Sending one person downstairs to flank up red is a good X factor. To deal with somebody who could be stopping the plant, flank up red, win the round through him. I don't think they were prepared.
It looked like every player that died in that round for SSG was making some kind of aggressive play, especially those first 2 picks. Seems almost unnecessary. It feels like maybe SSG don't have the right read on the playstyle against SCARZ.
Well, I feel like for SSG, they felt like sort of the gravity of SCARZ like being drawn to Ashen, right? Ashen was really that frontline defender that went for the intuition play. And so the rest of SSG tried to like piggyback off the back of that, right? Like if there are SCARZ players that are distracted by whatever's going down inside of Master, surely the player on the balcony is not going to be looking back, right? But Fishlike is on the roof and he stares down a player inside a garage. It's just small things like that that are, I would say, unfortunate for SSG, to be honest. I do feel like they are trying to be in support of their players, even cross-map. But I think SCARZ are playing a disciplined game.
It's a fine line when you figure out something that's working. SSG obviously found a formula on Nighthaven where they were playing aggressive, and those were the only rounds they were winning. So obviously they're trying to replicate that style of play on these defenses, but it is a fine line because you can go from a smart aggressive play to just over-cranking. And I think that's what we saw that round. Not every play is going to work, but you got to try. You got to throw things at the ceiling and see what sticks.
Here goes SCARZ is clear of the gym and bedroom bomb site as well. Sweep across the map as they get this cutoff angle open with Pion opening up the con wall. No one to contest it on the other side. They haven't brought along the bandit this time, have SSG, so no wall to null at all.
There goes the mirror.
Wow, gosh, that's a bit of abstract art, the mirror as well for Ashen. Is he stuck here? I don't think so. I don't think anyone's actively looking at the angle for now, but once again, no wall to null on the jacuzzi wall either. Does mean that Pion can freely get open the second wall as well. Not just that, but Fishlike as well. It's got one more Selma charge in hand, so if they do want to deal with one of those mirrors at range, they can do that as well. Now it's time for SCARZ to have a think through this mid-round. How are they going to execute onto the bomb site? What is the point either of least resistance or a point that they can then go and problem solve come the last couple minutes of the round?
They've opened up everything, and it looks like Tayu and Washore are going to try to make their way towards clearing cache. They've opened up everything, isolating the SSG players, keeping them in their position. Hot and Cold is going to be the only person they have to deal with first. Can he go massive in this position on the red stairs?
It does seem like a sweep across the map is going to be the push of choice for SCARZ. There goes Tayo on his way in on the blitz.
And Washoy has come up the red stairs to finally take down Hot and Cold. A nice 2-pronged attack from SCARZ to cut down the first player of SSG as the rest of the team must pull back.
40 seconds though left on the defense. Ashen is going to fall back a little bit from a safe haven in Logi, but there goes Faults from down below. Undetected so far. And with the time ticking down, it's up to SCARZ now to press the attack as they make their way in through con.
Look at Ashen too. Ashen making his way downstairs. They're going to be playing the impacts and the C4 from below, but Washoy, low HP, but he has a plan. Will he be able to get these two away from the diffuser?
Washoy so close. Oh, perfect read, but Faults just needs to round this corner. Washoy goes down to the vertical angle. Ashen has been perfect, but Pion has traded him on back again. Tayo pushes in with the blitz, finds the pick. 2 more players to go for SSG, but Faults can take down that player. Jumping in the window, Tayo must plant. And it's up to Fishlike to cover. Forrest, the C4 doesn't land. And the cover has to be from Fishlike. Faults for 1, for 2. Forrest comes in, swoops in for SSG, and they'll fire up after taking the lead.
They set up there perfectly, especially playing around their utility. They have the Solus, they're going to use it. They have a C4 downstairs, they're going to use it. Their C4 players already playing on main stairs to be able to deny the one hard spot that you can't impact. The Blitz almost was devastating. The Blitz pushing through Logi was able to clear out the Frost. It could have been a short round. The C4 also missed, but thank God Faults was there. Good intuition off of his impact. He was able to clear out the other player. And then it was a 2-on-1. Blitz was planning, he was caught with his pants around his ankles, like you said earlier.
Yeah. It was scrappy.
How many times are we going to use that euphemism in this game?
That's my new favourite one. I'll tell you what, I've got a few favourite phrases at the moment, especially when we cast SSG. That's where all the space words get excited.
Yeah.
It's good fun. I like
Astronomical.
We're going to go down to the basement for SSG. Having successfully defended twice now, SCARZ with only 1 point on the board are looking to play catch-up, as they do look like they are roaming across the entire map. They're not going to open up this moto hatch, but they are going to use the castle to extend their way through all 3 floors and look for a safe fall-off route after that.
The last defense that they were on the basement site, Ashen went for an aggressive fight, and he had Forrest and Fultz playing very aggressively shortly after in Moto and in blue, above the blue hatch. This round, they're bringing out the Castle and the Mira and the Ella, almost as if they want to do a complete turtle and really force SCARZ to have to clear them and have to find them. It's a good night and day difference. One round they play super aggressive, they won the round. Now they're going to keep SCARZ on their toes, play a little bit more passive, and make SCARZ have to keep thinking forward instead of the round behind them.
It does look like there is a little presence, though, left for SSG on the ground floor. They haven't completely forfeited the map just yet, but like you pointed out, the top floor has actually been forfeited. And that's where Wishoy can get his drone inside a garage and start to inform the push.
We didn't get to see, excuse me, we didn't get to see too much out of Pion with the Osa on the last attack on the basement. This round, they're being given everything. So if they're going to go for a kitchen plant, if they're going to go for a moto drop, the Osa is going to come in clutch here. But it's all going to be on how Pion uses it and pushes with the team with that diffuser. He doesn't have the diffuser in hand now, but if he's the Osa, he has to be the one that's going for those plants.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the last round and this round, is that this time Fishlike has actually had the opportunity to use his hard breach to open up the kitchen hatch. Last time around, it came through the execute phase. There wasn't even the kitchen hatch open for Pion to actually drop down. They had to go through blue instead. So now SCARZ have been afforded the opportunity through the mid-round to open up their options and keep SSG guessing.
They've already managed to open up that kitchen hatch with half the round still remaining. It looks like SSG are playing fairly passively, but have a look at that setup bottom main.
I love this mirror setup. It allows your bottom main player to be able to get contested by the church player, especially with all that info you have. Nobody in their right mind is going to want to be playing against that mirror on the bottom stairs. So if no one's playing there, later in the round for the execute, Fultz having 2 impacts in his pocket can impact the back of Armory and stop a plant. So you don't even have to rely on being able to shoot the Osa that's going to be dropping. You can just go for the flank and the retake afterwards. It doesn't look like SCARZ even want to try and contest it against the ace. So that's where I'd be worried. They'll have to be holding it from top main, or else Fultz is going to be able to stop the plant very easily.
SCARZ now being afforded a false sense of security as the retake strategy seems to be on for SSG. Although they have this full vertical pressure, they're not going to be able to find a pick out of it. Now the danger here is, can they then go and flood into the bomb site with only 35 seconds left to go? It actually doesn't look like a kitchen hatch drop. Where have all the SCARZ players actually gone? I think they've identified that this point of resistance, okay, never mind, maybe they are still going to go for it, but they have realized that they need a couple players either down on the ground floor or doing something else to catch off SSG as they look to deny this drop.
Indecision for a brief moment from SCARZ. Pion goes down, but the shield does not protect him from Hot and Cold's fire. And a second and a third and a fourth now for SSG. It all comes down to Fishlike, flawless for Space Station. They cannot execute.
Phenomenal round at SSG. We saw that Mira do exactly as intended. Even if they get the castle open from Moto, he's got 3 more Kiba barriers in his pocket. He can close it off, forcing the attackers to have to go through Moto door, which they have a player in blue and a Mira that's able to see it that can just stop that push. But it didn't even get that far. Pion got shot through his shield, and then the C4 from Ashen, not getting Pion, but actually getting the guy behind him. I mean, you couldn't have painted a better picture of that round.
Too many layers, I think, for SCARZ to break down with too little time to do it. And that's SSG going up 3-1 on their defending half.
We even heard them right there at the end, make them execute, they can't execute. And I think that's going to be the biggest question going into these next defenses is, are they going to be able to execute? And SCARZ, it's almost the reverse of what happened last map. Nothing's working for them. They have to be able to find a pick to get that foothold into attempting to attack the strat.
Well, there's only 2 more rounds in this half. Realistically, SSG happy with the 3, or are they gunning for 4? Or Is it game over if SCARZ only win a single round in this half?
No, you can't be happy with 3. You can't be happy with 3, especially being up 3-1. You always want to stab the knife a little deeper. Obviously, a 4-2 is going to be the best split on average that you're going to get on Clubhouse. But if you can get a 5-1 is so mentally taxing. It's so difficult to come back from a 5-1. 4-2, you can do it. 4-2 is a comeback story. 5-1 is, let's go map 3.
Yeah, as we saw on the first map, SSG were down 1-5 after the first half and unable to make that comeback work despite a valiant effort 3 rounds in a row. Wow, very early Yokai taken down from Rek.
Look how slow SCARZ is playing.
I was going to say that he's playing really cautiously, even though he might have been afforded some of this early control inside of Strip. Actually, there isn't even the early control afforded there. It's Hot and Cold actually playing solo inside of Strip. They're playing such a cautious game on their approach into the map.
It's almost as if Hot and Cold knows that they're going to be trying to clear out Strip, so he's already trying to make his way out so that he can give it to him. I think SSG is trying to play keep away going into this round. They don't want to fight. They're bringing a lot of info and a lot of denial to hold up top and the basement. Hot and Cold's going to be able to get out unscathed. I believe he still has 1 drone set up in the site too. So you give him Strip. SCARZ has invested a lot of resources for it, but now you don't have the meat and potatoes. You don't have the top floor or the basement.
Fairly near push so far for SCARZ, and they're going to need to amount some other point of pressure. That being said, they've injected Rek into the ground floor, but like you pointed out, the info is there for SSG. They do have a read that SCARZ at the moment are having a think about the bomb site. There are 2 or 3 drones that have just gone in through bar and stage, but like you pointed out, it could be a false sense of security once again for SCARZ. They think they can execute, but really they can't. There are a couple more layers of the onion that they need to peel apart before they can go for it.
The Solus is just going to give an easy call to where they're planning. They don't even need the Echo drone to stop the plant. They have the players above in Master. They have the mirrors around the players in Master. You're not going to be able to send a rat up to deal with these players. You have to send more than 1 or 2 people to deal with it head on.
But do they have the time? There's 50 seconds left to go, right? At this point, do they really have the time to afford to make a mini execute work on the top floor as they're trying to go in for the bomb site? The info is still here as well for Hot and Cold. Even the entry has come out from Rek on the other side in the kitchen hallway. What are they going to do about it? Yes, he's going to try and send some grenades up from below, but really, it just doesn't feel like enough. Come the execute phase with 30 seconds left to go. The logic bomb will ring out for SCARZ, but it's looking dire.
SSG said make them execute. Let's see if SCARZ can deliver on the promise. The diffuser almost down, but Bjorn denied. The last second falls for the flank. He gets a double the flick. And SSG, they might have the perfect read. They've made them execute. They've made them feel this pain. Fish-like desperate to get that diffuser. But the MVP of the round continues his onslaught. SSG cannot deny that they have won another round. 4-1 up in the advantage on Clubhouse. Fired up and ready to flame SCARZ.
They can't execute. That's been the story of this map so far, and it's really coming true. You see it every second the way that SSG is playing. They're rather running away than taking the gunfights. They're not even risking it. In the early game, we saw them going for these aggressive plays. They overcranked. They decided to pull it back and force SCARZ to have to clear them out, have to go for the plants. Even though SCARZ is making good leeway in their time, taking good position, it's not the position they need to take. Obviously, couldn't have had a better flank myself. Foltz, beautiful flank there, giving the info to the players above to be able to stop that plant right before it's about to go off, and he's able to just clean up.
Such a cool spray transfer as well that we watched on his part. I mean, he gets the first, he turns 9 degrees, and like cleans the second one up as well. Oh, P90 power.
Did you hear what he said as well?
What did he say?
Get off me. He wins that round. He looks to his teammate with a sly smile on his dial, and he says, get off me. SSG are like a completely different team from what we saw on Nighthaven.
If you look at the kills too, it's almost as if Foltz is unchanged. You know, Foltz is one of those players that is consistent. Everybody knows his skill. Major 1 didn't have too hot of a major. This last NAL stage, he's been playing a lot better. I feel like picking up a player like Ashen really lit a fire under him to be able to, you know, he was once the young guy on the team. He's not getting old. There's not a new younger guy. So I love to see this out of him. He's playing a lot more of the Solus, a lot more of these flexible ops, and we haven't seen this from him until this event.
12-2 is a good scoreline in 10 rounds, and he's done it in half as many.
sweep across the map for SCARZ. The bomb site is gym and bedroom for SSG, having won out their last one over on bar and stage as well. For SCARZ, I think it's really about committing to an idea here. I think don't get too overthinky. We're trying to do something finicky or whatever it might be. It's gym and bedroom. If you can get open what you need to, put the pressure on the bomb site, and then actually dedicate themselves to going in for an execute rather than spending all this time in the mid-round like loitering and waiting for something to happen. SSG are playing a really disciplined game right now, right? They're not giving them anything in the mid to early round because they know that the weakness in SCARZ at the moment is that late round.
SCARZ had a really good start attacking on Master this last attack, opening up all the walls. This round, though, the mirror has rotated. They're not going to get a free mirror on the Logi wall. They're going to have a little bit more of a harder hold, and they're bringing the Azami. And they're not playing down low. They're always keeping the next round that they're going to one step ahead of SCARZ. They're not playing on the round behind. They're playing on the round forward. SSG is planning to fight up top head on, expecting SCARZ to have to deal with what they ran the prior Master round, which is the downstairs play.
That being said, there are 2 sets of grenades down below at the moment, and there's no one there to contest them, like you just said. So this could be SCARZ's opportunity to actually dislodge the defense from bottom up, but Fultz doesn't care. He's going to check the angle from down below to see if he can catch anyone. And in fact, 2 of those grenades, it's about to be 4 of them, are not going to sink onto a single SSG player. So all 4 of the grenades and a player himself, Washoy, has just been taken down the vertical. Actually, Rek has got 1 more in hands. Okay, thank goodness they can at least get a trade, but that was a very expensive trade.
Especially on time. The kill for time is not fair enough. All of SSG playing super far back. They still have utility to deny from below, and they also have Ashen playing behind all of these keeper barriers inside gym. It's going to be so hard to clear because you've used all 4 of your grenades for 1 kill.
Not a good spot now as Fishlike is now facing the resistance on the other side. Not only is there a mirror window, well, it's now been popped open, but there's also a shield at top main that he's got to face. Rek has got an idea that there is Ashen on the other side of this rotation hole, but doesn't have a grenade to sink into his position. Here goes the flood of utility, though, from SCARZ, the flashbangs to initiate themselves in, but it's Ashen to meet them on the other side.
And he finds the first, looking for more, but doesn't feel a lot of pressure. Rek punishes an over-aggressive J90, but Forrest is there for the trade, all up to Fishlike now. Fox, you said it, SSG have done it. 5-1 in the first half. They have dominated, they have replied in kind to SCARZ, and the Japanese will now have to have the comeback of their lives to keep this game alive.
The confidence you must feel, especially going down on your first map, to start so hot on a second map.
Get the cuts, get the flank set up, and we're going to crank anybody's solar aerobics still, okay?
Look at that, you can hear him saying the crank. They know exactly what they're talking about. Sometimes you'll listen to a SSG listening and you can get a little lost, but it's really refreshing to listen to comms like that. But so far, they have not let SCARZ get a breath in this game. They're keeping them on their toes, forcing them to plant, forcing them to execute. SCARZ haven't really been able to find anything.
I like that from Pyon, the captain of the roster, trying to inject a little bit of energy back into them as well. You could see just in a very short listening we got of SCARZ. Yes, they are down 5-1, but Pyon is still giving the chant. Okay, guys, fighting, you know? All right, and everyone responds to it. It's good energy.
It is good energy. But NA is here, baby.
I love that. It's the most energy we've heard from you this cast, Fox. You're getting fired up. SSG have done something pretty incredible on this second map. We saw a flash of greatness on defense on Nighthaven, but it was too little too late after the 6-1 lead that SCARZ had found for themselves at the end of the first half. And now in Clubhouse, it really feels like the team names have switched and the roles have reversed. SSG now find themselves in the dominant position SCARZ had on Nighthaven.
It's taken a little time, but I think they've got a good read on SCARZ. That's always the most difficult thing playing against APAC. Every team is so different, especially within their inner regions. It's so difficult to get a good beat, but once you do, it's very similar round after round.
That being said, now that the side swap has happened, do you then have to get a reread on the team that you've played against?
Absolutely, you absolutely do. Although, being down 5-1 is a very daunting task. You tend to not make as aggressive plays because the thought of not messing up is always going to be in the back of your head. And if the question of SCARZ's immaturity as a team to be left into this game, it might be the downfall of them this map is that daunting feeling.
Pre-play C4 from Washoy is not going to land onto Hot and Cold because he doesn't actually go for a full sweep of the map. Instead, realizing that the top floor has been vacated, will drop down into the ground floor straight away and start to make use of the vertical. Well, he's heard the Phantom C4 and is thinking, danger, danger, but actually he's completely safe from it. Little does he know that, but alas, on the other side with the Buck at range, he can start to make some of this vertical game work for him. Meanwhile, on the other side, Forest as well will start to get some of that hard breach into the building. Actually, the kitchen hatch has already been opened up, so really, SSG doing some... Oh, that is not a hard breach charge, Hot and Cold.
Oh no, the land setup strikes again.
You'd know. Will Forest have enough hard breach here to open up all these hatches?
That's a great question. I think they're just going to have to make do. They'll be able to get all the hatches open, but I think they wanted to save those Habana pellets to be able to get that church wall and make feet holes in them so that they can have an easier way into church.
Oh, well, Ashen has found the first pick elsewhere. Wreck has been misdroned, and there's no Claymore here. This flank could be huge for SCARZ. He spots out one player on drone, and he will find that first pick. J90 goes down, but now the flank, the jig, it is up. And SSG look to crank on the bomb site. 4v4. Let's see if their executes are a shade better than SCARZ's. Hot and Cold finds the first one, but a wall bang will fall victim for Forest. He finds the info, but Hot and Cold is the last one standing. Trapped in blue, low HP, and dancing around the fire. SCARZ are poised to find their second round of the game. Doesn't look possible for Hot and Cold, but he'll give it a crack anyway. The crank was not there, but SCARZ finally have stemmed the bleeding, and they have a reply for SSG.
SCARZ starting off slow. They didn't want to mess up, and they definitely did not. They brought the Goyo, the smoke, and later in that round, you saw they were able to shut off all of Moto Door, which is why 3 SSG members had to walk through down the main hall. Now, if the Buck was there, they would have been able to go through the Ash Roll into back armory, have a little 1v1 with back armory, potentially have an easier foot in the site. But because of that beautiful flank from Rec, Hot and Cold, the Buck player, had to be the one to deal with it. He ended up shutting him down. Rec was only able to get one, but that flank itself took the Buck away from the rest of the execute. Time wasn't on SSG's side. They had to push down the hall, and they just got sandwiched.
These are the small details of this game, isn't it? There are certain small margins that certainly are the telltale of rounds, especially come the late to mid-game. We might not notice it all the time on the cast, but with you here, we can certainly pick up some stuff like that. That's really fun.
I try to be of help.
Oh, very good. Thank you. We appreciate that.
To be honest, I just brought you on for the good looks, but
okay.
If you have some other contributions, I'm all ears.
Fair enough, fair enough. I will say, I gotta give respect to Rec being down such a strong lead and then going for a play like that. He had the souls, he had all the information. He was able to shut down the blue player, was J90, forcing Hot and Cold to rotate over. That play in itself won SCARZ the round with all the denial that they were able to have.
Unafraid to make a mistake despite the 1-5 deficit.
Rec would be the player to do that too. He's been so good. He was really good in Major 1, especially against SSG. And if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the top fraggers for SCARZ in their region.
That is correct. That would be very correct, actually. A very fair statement. Here goes SSG on their approach into gym and bedroom, putting some pressure out on the jacuzzi wall as Pion's on the other side of this to look for the trick onto Ashton. But he doesn't quite get it just yet. I think Ashton's realized that the bandit is present here and they're going to take the exothermic charges over to the other side of the map instead. I believe that J90 on the Selma charges has at least made some headway over inside of Cash, so if they decide to try and make the sweep work, they certainly can, with that being a crouch hole. Forest as well down below is going to make sure that they can't be C4'd from bottom up, as there is a Valkyrie camera inside a server.
Very good read from SSG to drone out where the bandit's playing and go the opposite way. Path of least resistance right now. They obviously want to get angles open and they want to go for these gunfights. They're all feeling hot. If they can get the angles and get those fights, they'll surely feel at least in the better position.
Here's Teo on the other side with a C4 lineup going over into the breach, but a little too late. There are already players inside the building as he tosses one out, but it doesn't connect. Tough fall-off spot now, but that Selma charge is going to be mute jams over on the other side. It's going to put some safety, at least for a little while, for Teo. With the shotgun in hand, he's going to round the corner, but not connect any shots.
Well, he's going to be forced to move now, and he does find the pick on the J90. Elsewhere, Forest keen on the cover for Washoy, but there is a trade, and once again, back for SCARZ. They refuse to let SSG slide with that numbers advantage.
Nice little 2-for-2 trade, falling back. I gotta ask myself, where are the Thatchers when you're trying to get that wall open? If they would have got that wall open, it would have probably been a cleaner execute on the green side.
Mate, he's got 13 kills. You can't criticize him.
No, you're right. It's my bad. But where are those Thatchers going to be used? I'm very curious.
Ooh, close nade from Forest down below onto Fishlike. The second down to just a little under half HP, but not out, okay? Just as I've said that, they have flushed him out to hot and cold. Forest to send one more up, but there's no one playing on the chassis. There's only 2 defenders left on the SCARZ to stop the onslaught. And with 25 seconds left, it's Pion to kick things off to look for the first pick.
Oh no, he's caught in the tracks as he didn't want to shoot them and give away his position. But as a result, now much restricted movement for SCARZ as Faults and Hot and Cold with 2 L85s in hand. But Pion is prone and ready for it. He spots the feet, but he's in an awkward spot and round in the corner. Faults for 1. The trade from Rek. A 1 versus 1 in favor of SCARZ as they try to continue this comeback.
That came down to the wire. Maybe if they use the Thatchers on the green wall,
you're not letting this one go.
They would have had a little bit. I really wasn't able to see where Faults was that round. But if they had the Thatcher on the green wall, any experienced player would know the mute jammer was the only thing stopping it. You Thatcher the mute jammer, you have an easier run in. You don't go 2 for 2. You probably have demand advantage in that situation. Regardless, though, I really like how SSG was setting up that round.
Let's go.
All right.
I love Pion. That is amazing.
Oh my god. SSG was setting up the round really well, especially with having Forest downstairs for the nades. But Pion Rek, they made the play there. I really love how Pion was on the main stairs, got the pick on the Forest, and he was able to make it up through the track stingers all the way into gym and able to play and connect with his teammate.
The captain has his moments. He certainly does.
Ooh. I see a Montaigne teased out by Forest here from SSG. SCARZ banded in the first map. We saw a lot of blitz. And we know how good Monty is here on club.
What's your read on this? Lethal or not lethal?
It'll be to pressure out Garage. I mean, it'll get its job done. The issue that we'll face is, can SSG hold below? Will they be able to get the Monty into the plant spot? Will the plant spot be denied?
Ooh, free kill.
Whoa. There's Fishlike on the duel with player on the outside, but the shots don't quite connect, and in fact he takes more damage himself. But here goes the Monty, just as you pointed out, putting pressure immediately on the Rafters position. That being said, there is the Azami of Pion, I believe, on the other side to support one of his teammates. There's 2 players on Rafters, in fact. So what do you reckon here? Monty versus a double Rafters hold, right? Do the attack then win this off the back of the info that they get, or are they playing into the defense?
The Monty is mostly scare tactic. I'd expect SSG to be baiting the Monty, and the attack is going to come from somewhere else. Wishoy and Tayu are also downstairs to help for this Garage take, especially if Force overextends. Oh, no! He unshields.
That's a huge risk, and Rek is looking for an aggressive play as well on the breach, but he thinks better of it as they have the advantage, and there's no reason to give SSG a kill back. The Monty's gone down so early and with no impact. A fickle attempt from Forest.
It looked like SCARZ was set up to retake Garage if that Monty did push up, but he made it easy for him. He unshielded. And now Hot and Cold is going hunting. They obviously can't push through Garage anymore. They're going to try to rotate and clear out the master area. The rest of SCARZ is just going to fall back. They have that advantage on the Monty. They just can't get picked now.
It's possible. There is a roamer downstairs, and Hot and Cold is on the lurk.
So Shoy on the other side, he seems pretty aware that there is now a player inside of bar. Oh, but they've got live info on him at the moment. Red ping's going out as he rotates down to safety all the way through the secret stairs. But that does allow Hot and Cold space now inside of the ground floor. He is the one with 2 grenades in his hands. The anchors aren't going to feel so safe now.
He's doing a phenomenal job at staying alive. Just staying alive as a roamer is the biggest thing. You don't need to get kills. You just got to stay alive, because now SSG has to worry about where Wishoy is. Is he going to come up main? Is he going to come up blue? So they're going to have to start hitting the site, and they always have this risky feeling that they're going to get flanked.
Oh, and they might indeed. Wishoy reveals his position, but he doesn't overextend. Hot and Cold caught in a crossfire, goes down as another roamer goes below.
The entry on in for Ashen, though, as they start to creep their way on into the bomb site. Only 35 seconds left to go, and it's False to open up the equation.
Oh, Ashen for a double. Another one now for J90. This round has flipped on its head, but Pion will not sit down. 2 more kills for him as J90 is the last one standing. There's information on the side, and this is going to be the easiest plant denial of his life. 4K for the captain of SCARZ. 1 round away from making this comeback a reality.
Amazing play from Pion. I mean, he got 3 and the 4th with the impact from below. Just shutting SSG down. SSG, it looked like they were in a good position to take the site. They obviously were winning the fights.
I don't think I've ever heard Pion go trash talk against these guys, man. Pion is like the sweetest soul ever, but he's just like, cool, SSG taking their tactical timeout. Oh, man.
Makes you wonder what SSG are going to be saying right now. As, of course, we can speak English, can't speak Japanese. Let's see what they're saying.
There, look at the printouts. They got the printouts of like the exact strats that the enemies are going to do, their strats. They have a lot of them.
What you say for Jim? You said Than Thatch?
Oh, very quiet tactical timeout. Speak up, guys. We can't hear you. Yeah, I'm not sure if you got anything out of that, but I certainly didn't.
Call out. I heard him pretty much say, keep it simple. And I think Forrest was kind of saying, you know, hey, that round might be on you guys. Like, you got a nasty shot on me on shielding. I think they understand where they went wrong. A lot of people would look at that and say, wow, SSG look like they're really down. You know, they were quiet, so you'd obviously say, oh, wow, maybe they think they're getting nervous here. But I think that's... I'm blanking on the word, but that is the confidence you want to have in your coach to be able to just quiet down, listen to exactly what you need to be done and what you need to get done, and then lock back into it.
And if I was SSG, I would take a bit of confidence from the fact that they turned a 3 versus 5 into a 3 versus 2.
That's where SSG is strongest, when they're able to give misinformation, come from everywhere, and be able...
Bless you.
5 seconds.
No, I just laughed. They're able to attack the site from all angles. Ashen especially getting 2 in the site, walking up rafters. They're able to get their picks because you don't really have a good grasp on where SSG is. They don't give you an idea on the one area that they're going to be attacking from.
Look, I love your analysis, Fox, but are you going to be a brand risk on my cast?
No. I'm trying not to.
Oh dear, it's dangerous having the NA player on for what is our hopes of an APAC victory, but so far SSG have started to run away with this one. 5-4, SCARZ looking to bring it back. Very quick entry though from Hot and Cold over on the other side. Oh, sorry, it's actually J90 on the Ash, not Hot and Cold. As he makes his way in, often not the injection player for this team, but will play it early on. The rest of SCARZ, I was going to say, I've actually forfeited back into the bomb site, but what were you going to go for?
I was going to say it was a very fast entry from SSG. Whenever they take a timeout, they usually have a game plan of what, it's usually a fast game plan too on what they're going to do. Obviously they were expecting a roam, and SCARZ set up a beautiful bait roam with the mute jammers, making it seem like they were going to play up top. But like you said, they went all back downstairs. So SSG is now spending time on an area that's completely clear, but they're doing it fast. So it might be a good give and take.
Space given up now to SSG as they can start to make the mid-round work. That's why we need to turn our attention to Hot and Cold on the sledge to see what work he can get done on the floor. There are only 2 sets of C4s that he needs to contest with. Washoy's already got 1 prepped over on the other side, just beneath the kitchen hatch that Hot and Cold's got to worry about, but the other set of C4s is a little further away from that. He's just trying to land this shot. Oh, onto a player behind the triple wall. That's a nice little angle he's got there, but the Wamai on the other side, that's wrecked. It's not going to give away his life.
Pre-rip C4 for Washoy here, just below the kitchen. If he can find a kill and get a numbers advantage going into an execute, that would be massive.
Whenever you're playing in that area too, it kind of feels like a game of Battleship because you're just trying to listen to where they're coming from. Oh, the angle. You might be able to see his head. Oh, a couple shots on him.
But he's C4 himself as well. I think it's time for Washoy to get out of dodge. He's actually going to go and play inside of dirt. He's going to get droned out. He'll take that down. He is low HP for any potential late round engagement. Forrest needs to land the first bullet.
He's going to make his way in, but with only 30 seconds left to go, it's go time for SSG as they start to plan out this mid-round. It's always quite tricky in these 5 versus 5 executes going into the basement. What do you do? It looks like it's going to be a kitchen hatch for them. They have a plethora of utility to try and flood their way on in. There goes one of the grenades from Hot and Cold to try and be sunk onto the triple player. Oh, but there's a player in Moto. That's Ashen on the other side to open up the equation.
First kill for Ashen, another one as Hot and Cold joins the fray. Time ticking now, SCARZ have fallen apart. Flawless for SSG.
Well, the energy's back. We're back.
You think?
NA
We are
Copium.
so back.
We are back. We are so back.
Hey, mate, they have match points, so I wouldn't say it's Copium at this stage. A 2-round lead as SCARZ have finally taken their tactical timeout.
That attack was very well executed from SSG. You asked in the middle of that round, what did it look like SSG was going to do? How did they get a step in the door? How did they get to planning? They had one player drop Moto, one player push down Blue, one player push down Dirt, one player push down Kitchen, a player Kitchen Hatch. They attacked every single angle. The whole round was leading you to think that they were going to drop Kitchen Hatch. That was maybe the main pushing force from SSG. But from every other angle they pushed down, everybody got a pick. Everybody was able to get their own 1v1, especially Ashen dropping in Moto, getting the Church player, and then also getting the Blue player, allowing, right here, you see it right here, allowing J90 to pretty much walk down Blue uncontested and be able to help his team.
Nice stuff there from SSG, leaning into the gunpowder that they have on their roster, keeping things simple, I think was the one phrase that we had from Cooler, and I think not getting too caught up in the pre-execute phase and actually leaning into their own confidence as individual players, I think was what they really needed there. It's really cool to see Ashen as well wake up in the server at the moment. 10-7's not bad scoreline for the rookie of the roster as SCARZ off the back of their tactical timeout are going to take us over into gym and bedroom. Looks like they are looking for a little bit of an extension over horizontally, but not too much. But they also, like SSG were doing, are leaning into that, the mirror Azami setup off the back of the bandit on the Pion as well, to try and keep things closed off.
The only common theme I'm seeing here from the last map is when SSG is ready to set up and when they're ready to go for those executes, losing somebody in those moments, losing somebody to a flank, losing somebody to an aggressive push. SCARZ can't let up in those moments. SSG needs to be able to shut that down if they want to finalize this match.
Oh, Washoy taken down immediately. That was a nice attempt there, but all of these SSG players seemingly ready for it.
J90 as well, ready off the back of that for someone to be peeking out of the server window, but the rest of SCARZ playing the discipline game so far off the back of the first pick going in the way of SSG. Pretty extended extension, actually. Pretty fortified extension, actually, on the side of SCARZ. They even dedicated some of those keeper barricades over to rafters, but having seen the wall being opened up and with the man down, they decide to fall on back to the bomb site, worried that SSG might be thinking about hitting it.
That strip impact run out actually could work in your favor a lot of the time, but that is a very common thing that teams do in NA.
Okay.
My team actually does that a lot. I'm pretty sure Fish died the exact same way to SSG that way. They're always ready for it. It's a very common theme.
Pressure on the Jacuzzi wall, though. They are going to try and play the trick minigame. It does seem like Pion is going to be able to get the thermite charge, but not the Selma charge on the other side. So a little hole being made in the top of main, but it's not a breach hole just yet. They can't quite walk in and actually make an execute work off the back of it. Fishlike is in a bit of a pinch as well on main stairs. There is a player playing his cutoff. That's Ashen on the other side. He's got his drone. Oh, but he finds the timing. Just gives him a little bit of a window to run away back to the safety of the bomb site. Incoming.
Here comes good progress. Forest moving up the red stairs. Now the Azami has locked him out here, but he does have more nades. As Tayo's heard that position. Oh, here comes Forest, the perfect read, but Tayo, the perfect timing. He's incredibly lucky he moved at that precise moment, and SSG has still yet to clear his position.
Playing inside the green box area is very risky. You have to be able to navigate through a minefield knowing exactly when and where the nades are going to come. If a drone spots you, you know a nade's coming soon after. The Azami barricades are going to keep the attackers at bay and give Tayo a little more time, and I don't think they want to waste any more nades for this player. They only have one nade for hot and cold.
Oh, and Fishlike's found one elsewhere. Not sure where that went down, but Ashen's been a huge player. Red cannot secure his pick as he does down hot and cold, and Fishlike finds another one. Forest might finally take down Tayo, but it's not going to happen. Rex taking out Faults. Both of the players on the balcony, the last one standing for SSG.
Not such a good spot. Now for SSG as they make their way in, it's hot and cold to try and double down the position inside of Con, but not going to work in his favor. Tayo around the other side is going to claim the life of the final player of SSG for another round for SCARZ.
Tayo played that spot phenomenally. Not only avoiding the nades, but playing off of his teammates, playing off of the keeper barriers. Obviously, Rec peek and connector, the timing for hot and cold to go for that nade. That last nade that we talked about not being used on Tayo was going to be used for connector door so that the rest of his team could try to push in. Rec just had a beautiful timing. He was able to down him, which gave the rest of his team time to pick off the extremity players from SSG, just going for those 1v1s.
Well, they've converted their tactical timeout now. And with that as well, all of the bomb sites are actually available. Cache CCTV has once again been unlocked. Now, this bomb site was a very tight round. Actually, according to the top-down view that we've got in our second monitor, they've changed bomb sites completely, Mandy. This is a curveball we have not yet seen. Oh, sorry, I thought that was Bar. I'm crazy. Spoiler, we are going back down to the basement.
I was just thinking, I was like, oh no, Dev, we're doing a Dev and Mandy classic, not knowing how to read the bomb site.
I can never tell what bomb site it
We're
is.
terrible at it. It's both of us that are terrible at it. See, it would be good if like one of us was okay at it so we could like pick up on the mistakes, but we're both awful.
Well, that's the real reason we brought Fox in.
It's definitely not me. Definitely not me. It's you guys, but don't worry. The basement bomb site, I mean, we haven't seen too much out of SCARZ like we did SSG, going for the aggressive roam to aggressive defense. Maybe this round we'll see a little bit of a roam, but it doesn't look like it's assisted with any utility. There's going to be a lot of info, so whether that dictates SCARZ falling back down to the basement and then retaking up with their Valcams with the Solus, or they're really going to fight for up top control based off of where they can get information.
And there are two players for SCARZ on the top floor. That's Rec and Washoy to be the first point of contest as the entry starts to make their way on through. Rec has an inkling that there might be someone entering in from stock. That's actually Forrest, who is droning over on the other side, thinks better of it and decides not to make that entry work immediately for him. Actually, a couple players at the moment of SSG on drones, just thinking about what they want to do next. Ooh, but here goes Ashen, having a think about jumping in through Con.
This roam clear is very interesting because they're all split up. It doesn't look like they have a direct push. They have a guy hot tub, a guy connector window. You have hot and cold holding the kitchen main stairs from bar, being able to shut down anybody that tries to rotate back from bar to the main stairs. But you're going to find yourself in a position where no one wants to be the player to go. But there's Forrest. He's always the player to go. Walks up red. He's able to shut down Rec and connector. Wishoy's going to get taken down by hot and cold, dropping down the Malachi hatch.
Yeah, really solid breakdown off the top floor. Very much mini execute style as a bunch of them jumped in through the top floor at the same time. Now it's Fish-like in a man disadvantage to try and hold on to his position inside a lounge, and he does so to perfection, claiming a really nice headshot onto the player trying to rotate inside of blue. But here goes Tayo as well, feeling the pressure of the man disadvantage, looking for his own play. He's going to be shot down. Hot and cold to claim a second, but it's still Fish-like in a pesky position inside of lounge.
Over-aggression punishes SCARZ. A big play to lose in Tayo. Perhaps Fish-like's heroics could have brought it back. He actually has the diffuser now in storage, but SSG are playing this slow.
SSG has time to play with. They can make their way over to the diffuser. They don't have to worry about contesting Fish-like one-on-one. They should absolutely not give any 1v1s.
Oh, as you say that, I think you curse them. Fox Fish-like is under a world of pain though, and he is eventually traded. 3 kills in the round for Hot and Cold as Pyong reveals his position, trying to hold on to that diffuser, but Hot and Cold finally locks in the game. The rivalry forged in Copenhagen continues here in Atlanta. SCARZ may have taken the first, but SSG reply in kind. The battle for elimination will continue on Kafe, which is coming up after this quick break.
Hello, I'm Dominique Clement, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. The next season is right around the corner. And if you don't get the latest operator on release, you might still want to review your ABCs on some of the operators already available today in the game. The Electric Bandit, the Wise Cade, and the Quiet Mute will be welcoming a new troublemaker into their ranks, ready to give breachers a few headaches. Working out your pulse and Solus muscles will ensure you'll be able to provide invaluable intel to this new operator. And let's not forget about Ella, Fenrir, and our other trap operators who each bring a unique ingredient that can be used in crafting some really crazy strategies with this new operator. So jump into the game and review your basics with these operators, so you'll be ready to synergize with the new operator when it comes out next season. See you there.
Hello, it's Mugli from Worlds.
I'm Doki from G2 Esports.
I'm NJR and I play for Dark Zero, and I'm ready to play some Drone in the Unknown.
Doki, NJR, watch out, I'm gonna beat you.
I'm gonna beat Mowgli. That's no problem.
I could definitely beat G2.
Okay, it's like a toilet or a sink. Ooh,
This box on the right side.
I've seen this before.
It's Blue Stairs on Bank.
It's gotta be Bank.
Ah, I know. Blue stairs.
Yes, I knew it. Oh wait, where's the sink? Ah, I didn't know there was a sink there.
After seeing that, I'm confident for the rest of it.
Club kitchen.
The brick wall on the back is like, that's the whole theme of Clubhouse.
That's Kitchen on Clubhouse.
No. I'm not playing in kitchen. I play in my room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
To be honest, I should know them all. If I don't know them all, I'll be embarrassed. Oh no, I've spoke way too soon.
I think it's Bank, but I'm not sure.
I'm seeing a painting.
It feels like it's a big room.
I'm not looking at the actual paint, I'm looking at the stuff around it.
Oh, this is Tellers on Border.
Or is it Consulate?
Bank lawyer's office, I guess.
I'm gonna say that it's Border, Teller's Archives.
Hey, it's what I said.
You said
Said, no? I said Border, big room, Tellers.
Oh, it was! Oh! Yeah, the ceiling. That's genius. That's genius for me.
Number 4. I'm seeing like a trophy case, some guns in them.
It's Pirates des Caraïbes.
So it's a gun cabinet, but the thing that I'm focusing on is the walls behind it. It's a very strange kind of brick.
Like, you know, it's like, yeah, trophy glasses, you know.
That's Chalet Trophy.
I'm pretty sure it's Charlie Trophy.
I'm right. Not surprised.
Oh, yes!
Oh, it's trophy. Let's go.
Oh, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. That is in Consulate, outside the garage breach.
Pretty sure it's Consulate Garage.
Consulate, garage. So easy. I'm not sure.
Let's go. That's how it's done.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the major.
SSG takes map 2 Clubhouse, a tight battle 7-5. SCARZ and SSG both alive, but next map determines who goes home, gentlemen. Elimination looming. I'm getting nervous, but what a momentum change. I mean, SCARZ got extremely quiet, and Ashen was screaming his lungs out, Fresh.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I know you threw it to Fresh, but I just want to say, I mean, Ashen was screaming on that first half, but then that second half when it swapped, it got a little quiet, reasonably so.
It was a very scrappy game of Clubhouse, I thought. I thought SSG had a very good read into everything SCARZ were trying to do. You know, when SSG were on the defense, and then when SSG were on the attack, they managed to just about get the job done. I think, you know, when you're talking about a 7-5 victory, very, very close. It's the little differences. It's just a couple of rounds where they had the better teamwork, the better execution. It looked like they slowed their things down a little bit more, played on that utility, played the positions, and actually got a good read of, you know, with the information where their opponent was. And that very last round, I think, was, you know, pretty much that.
Yeah, and we talked about it. Both teams' attacks struggled heavily. Their defense looked solid, but on attacks, it looks like they just couldn't find those openings or where they wanted to entry. And when they did, they just immediately got shut down. And then it was just kind of like, okay, rush, try to take these gunfights. And this was actually a beautiful round from Peon right there. He brought that back. Had he not won that gunfight in sight, I think with Shoy was on that roam, that round would have collapsed entirely if that wasn't for Peon.
And match summary up right now. Gabe, I think you said something like SSG needs to get out of their heads, and at points I felt like they were playing looser, and Fultz, phenomenal game, by the way, when we have their stats up.
Yeah.
But yeah, then times I felt like they were back in their heads.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say they were playing looser, like I said.
Okay.
Clubhouse is a very default map. There's not a lot of things that you can do. It really forces a lot of that communication, a lot of that teamwork. So naturally, you should be comfortable playing in that map specifically. So I don't want to say that they, you know, were struggling here or struggling there. It just came down to the basic fundamentals of how Clubhouse is played.
It was very good to see from an SSG point of view. We've said we need people other than J9 to step up. It was great to see Fultz up there hot and cold. Even Ash having a great game because J9 was the bottom of the leaderboard there. So that's what you want to see. There are definitely positives. Don't get me wrong, 7-5, it was a little bit iffy at times. But they've got themselves back into this best of 3, and it wasn't just reliant on one player.
And the biggest one that stuck out to me was obviously Fultz. We talked about that a lot. And
Definitely
for me, specifically with the NAL, like Fultz stuck out tremendously for his team. And as the IGL, he was the one taking initial gunfights. Even as Thermite, that's not something you typically would see. And Forrest was more known for that, playing that entry on a hard breach. You never saw that. But then Fultz started taking that, and he was getting in those gunfights in the early rounds of the NAL stage. And this is where we haven't been seeing him play like throughout these playoffs. And it's good to see him now bouncing back. But again, like you were saying, this was a full effort from each team, and it's now going into the last map. That has to continue.
Return to form for Fultz for sure, though, which was great to see. But we got to talk about map 3. We got that information up on the screen right now. Looking ahead, Fresh. What are you thinking?
So the one thing that I will say is SSG's run of form on Kafe is not good. They played it 5 times in stage 2, won it once, that was against Wildcard. So, you know, you've got a team that historically is quite good at Kafe on a bad run of form. However, I think maybe more importantly in the context of this fixture, it's SCARZ that are attacking first. Across this fixture, we've seen both teams basically struggle with their attacks. In both maps so far, it's been very, very defender-favoured. So the fact SSG might be able to build up 3, 4, 5 rounds on the defensive Kafe, it's not unheard of. It's a very defender-sided map. I think that's the biggest, most important factor in determining this best of 3.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say to touch up on that, I would feel worse for SCARZ had that would have been a swift like 7-1 or something like that. But SCARZ did bounce back. They did start to come alive again. So I think it coming down to this map, I believe it is going to be a 50-50. SCARZ is not super strong on it, but they aren't super bad on it. As you were saying, SSG has had a lot of struggle on it, but everyone knows how to play this map for the most part. So it is going to come down to this 50-50 of who's going to find those gaps, just like how it was in this Clubhouse, is who's going to be just running away with a few of those rounds or those capitalizing a few off of those other person's mistakes.
I was trying to read which way both of you were leaning, but I can't really put my finger on it. You're like 50-50. I don't know.
It's hard to
choose. Are you going to flip-flop?
No, I'm not going to flip-flop. I'm still going to say SSG.
Okay, locking in SSG.
I'm also going to lock in SSG. I thought I predicted SCARZ, so I was about to flip-flop.
No, you can't flip-flop because both these teams are really putting up a show.
Yeah, they absolutely are. But like I said, the big factor for me is the fact that SSG are going to start defense.
Okay,
because I think that's a huge factor in the momentum in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, though, of a best of 3 is it allows you to get all the communication through each and every single game. And when you get to that last map, both teams, hopefully, should be warmed up and have a general understanding of what needs to be done playing that last map.
Yeah. Well, we shall see on map 3. Come on. Give me some credit. That was a good rhyme. No? Okay, they are shaking their heads. It was not a good rhyme. Okay, let's send it over to Fox and Dev and Mandy, and I want to know what y'all are thinking. Who's going home and who's staying?
Ah, Jackie, that might not have been a good rhyme, but I'm here for a good time. SCARZ and SSG, a rivalry written in the stars. I'm definitely on the SCARZ train. What do you reckon, Fox?
Yeah, I think SSG's.
You
almost
baited me for a second.
I almost had you.
Mandy?
Nah, SCARZ win. Let's go.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's got to be.
Up the boys.
We're getting into Kafe, and there's no doubt about it that this series deserved the full distance, all 3 maps, and on the socials, we have hit a dead 50-50. SSG got knocked out of Copenhagen by SCARZ, who were the first Japanese team to go to the main stage in 4 years as a result. Will they disappoint here in Copenhagen, go out 0-3, or will Spacestation fall once again?
There couldn't be a closer matchup for the first elimination game of the day. Usually there's something in the stars, written in the stars, where when a team beats you once, the next time you play them at something important, you'll beat them. So
You're cooking up a narrative. You're spinning a yarn for
You're saying the
SSG.
space station's written in the stars. Is that
I didn't even do that on purpose, but I'm just a genius, I guess.
I hope you've got some more of those space puns ready, Mandy. I know they are your favorite. We've got at least 7 rounds and at most 15 to get them out.
So interesting, actually, both the shield operators, as we were speaking about earlier, has actually slipped through the ban phase. Now, you were alluding a little bit before the game, sorry viewers, getting a bit meta, that Forest does like to bring the shield operators on their attack. And so SCARZ letting both the Blitz and the Monty slip through, does that spell like near disaster? Alarms ringing yet? Or is it chill for now?
It'll be hit or miss. I think SSG's shield game so far in the whole series has been hit or miss. It'll either win and put SSG in a very prime spot to win the round, or it'll be the demise of their downfall. But Forrest is very good. This is one of his maps that he has set up really well with the shield. One thing to note out for is his Monty play. He'll always be playing that Monty. He'll always be walking around looking like the big distraction, but there actually is nobody behind him, and he is a one-man shield alone.
Spacestation are going to send us down into the ground floor for the first bomb side of choice over in kitchen and cooking. It does look like they are leaning into what is a little bit of a bakery setup, aided, of course, by the rotation hole being set up at the moment and the shield of Gianino. Double catch as well for the Jaeger and Wamai as well, so extending over pretty well horizontally.
It's a very default setup for SSG right now. I think they want to test the waters and see how SCARZ is playing. Kafe defenses is your bread and butter. You need Kafe defenses, you need a good amount of Kafe defenses, and Kitchen, in my opinion, is probably one of the harder sites to defend. So they want to see what SCARZ is bringing to this match, and it looks like a Monty and a Capitao, which screams to me bakery take.
I'd have to agree with that as well. Not just that, but they've got double sets of grenades as well on Fishlike and Wreck as well, so they've certainly got the redundancy in the utility if they want to go for a horizontal take.
If they just try to direct take on a bake, it would be very surprising to me, because SCARZ has been bringing a level of unpredictability on attack that I think is the reason they won Nighthaven. Kafe is a little bit more linear, but if they can use the floors on Kafe the same way that they were using the floors on Nighthaven, I think they could run away with a couple rounds on attack.
So as well as bringing along all this utility that could be for a direct take, they do also have double soft breach. They've got both Sledge and Buck as well. So if they can make use of the vertical game, which the map has been forfeited to them, they could get both those operators in to start to tear up the floor.
Absolutely, especially the Monty for dropping into Freezer. It's almost similar to Clubhouse, where you drop with the Osa to avoid getting shot. You drop with the Monty to push yourself into the coffee position to have a favorable plant. You can use the Capitao to fire off the areas that people would run through, Whiskey or run through Bake Door. You're able to get a safe plant down if he can get into that position, but they have to deal with a couple roamers first before they start opening up the site.
Not too much of a presence though on the second floor, as Rack is able to get some of those track stingers out as well. Make sure that the retake in through White is made a little more tricky for the defense. On the other side of that grenade, J90 is going to meet it with a shield, but not taken down just yet. And this is where the double soft breach does start to come into play for Fishlike and Tayo.
You're right, SSG completely forfeits the second floor. They realize that, hey, let's make them plant, let's make them execute.
It's the execute again.
It is the execute. I'm unsure if they've seen that Monty, but they'll find out pretty quick once he drops that that is going to be an easy way for SCARZ to get into the site. They'll have to use more than 2 impacts to get rid of him.
Well, that's the thing that SSG have not yet seen from SCARZ, that Montaigne. And despite the ADS, as the shield goes down to the second grenade, here comes Pion opening up the hatch and an avenue onto the bomb site for that Montaigne.
When they go for the plant, I expect a classic SSG retake, maybe flying up red, especially flying at the Monty to drop that diffuser down. A lot of times, there's not much follow-up behind the Monty entering into the site.
That being said, Bushoi is ready on red at the moment, and he's going to send in his utility as well. Here goes the Monty to be dropped, but is there anyone there to meet him? He's going to take down the Frostmat, and that's going to create the window of opportunity for SCARZ to go in.
Oh, Fishlike finds that opening kill. Forrest was the perfect player to stave off that Monty for a little longer. But here comes Ashen. He's in the perfect plant denial position. He can't take down the Montaigne. Too many bullets are required. Finally, the kill comes through, but the trade as well. 2v2 now. That diffuser still cold on the ground. A long angle for Hot and Cold. He's hotter than ever. Washoy, with a goo mine in foot, will have to push, and there's no option for him but to wait for SSG. They will not give him a damn thing. A good opening round there for Space Station.
We broke it down to a T pretty much exactly how the round was going to go beforehand. The Monty's going to drop. He gets into the position. If you can take down that Monty, it's very difficult for the freezer player behind, which was Taiyu, to be able to get into the position to retake and start planning, or even just fight from freezer. It's a very claustrophobic fight. And he didn't even make it that far. As soon as he walked out the freezer door, he got his head taken off. SSG, we saw they had 3 people set up by the Whiskey rotate. The Capitao fire obviously wasn't placed there, and if it wasn't placed well enough. That's the first spot that I would be trying to fire off. It looks like the fires are there, but it didn't really stop them from entering into Kafe, stopping that plant. Ashen took a couple shots, but he stopped the Monty. Case is down. It's really hard to retake it.
I was going to comment that. I thought, like, for sure you would set up that one piece of mission critical utility to go and make that work. But somehow there was like a little blind spot in the fire that, like, you saw 3 players crouch walk through and end up denying the plant. Really nice stuff there from SSG, knowing what the win condition was in the last couple seconds and having one that they were going to send us up into the second floor as opposed to the top floor. Now, I also want to get your read on this one. Why are they going over to reading as opposed to jumping into the top floor or even going over into mining?
The top floor is arguably one of the worst sites on this map. I would say the top floor and the bottom floor, because
W take, I agree.
the middle floor sites, you have a lot more from the defense to play with. You have the first floor and you have the top floor. Whereas when you go to the other 2, you're really locking yourself off to that floor. So if you go top floor, they can play from below, they can play from outside the windows, they can play from the roof. When you're in Bakery, they can play from above, outside the map. You want to force the attacking team to get inside the map. SCARZ is obviously really well set up for it. They're bringing the Monty to get inside the map. They're bringing the Brava to clear out any type of info-giving utility that SSG may have so that they could potentially have a player sneak up into the site late round and have the Monty hit from the other side.
Ooh, opening pick for Rek on that ace. I'm not sure. Oh, just outside the windows. You said it. You want to force the attack to go in the map, but great usage. Oh, no way. He's also hacked the Yokai drone. Is Fishlike going to be able to get that away, or is it simply going to be taken down? It looks like Hot and Cold might have shot out that Yokai. But regardless, a massive advantage in the early round for SCARZ.
I don't know, that's kind of big money moves from Fishlike, if you ask me. Not only has there been a player taken down inside of Train that's now afforded Pion control all the way in, right next to the bomb site, but taking down a lot of that plant, and now is really going to set SCARZ up for what could be a potential plan execute going in from Train.
Fishlike is spending the whole round setting himself up to either walk through Snowdoor, walk up Brown, walk up White. He's clearing all the info and all the utility, and he's hopefully going to be able to gather a little bit of info for him while Pion walks through Train.
Aggressive play from Hot and Cold. He rounds the corner. He is immediately traded, but he has taken down Rek. As I say that, there's engagements all over the shop. Tayo's got the down, and now the finish onto Faults. It's just Ashen left in a 1 versus 4, and he's in a very awkward position. Now revealed. SCARZ know exactly where he is, and a quick headshot from Fishlike delivers the killing blow to SSG.
He just creeps up Brown. No utility, no information. I mean, the round is pretty much over once it got to Fishlike. SSG obviously tried to do a retake. SSG on Kafe enjoys doing retakes. They try to get you into a false sense of security. Obviously, they went for an early fight. Lost train control. Pion walked in. And then they do a complete retake over onto mining. Didn't go in their favor. Everybody was getting shot down. Fishlike on the snow balcony was able to get 1. Later in the round, he got another coming up Brown. Pion giving great info for the wall bang. Taiyu was able to clean up the player coming through mining.
Do you think they were overthinking it a little bit, maybe? Like, yes, they lost the yokai drone early on, but was that then enough to, like, call for a play like that? Or do you think that was them getting a bit overzealous and maybe calling for something that was, like, too overcomplicated for that situation?
I think it is a classic SSG style to go for those retakes, especially when players are in a position like Train and mining. It's a very confident spot to be. It's a very power position spot to be, especially once you see that Monty. You don't want to let him into dining because he could find the right spot to plant to avoid getting shot. So they obviously tried to correct the issue that happened from the early aggressive play with more aggression. So it could have worked, but it didn't. They just lost the 1v1s in that position. But I wouldn't say it was a bad play. I wouldn't say it was an overcook. I think it was just the right amount, but it didn't go in their way. SCARZ was really well set up for it.
Now a reattempt onto another second floor site, but not the same one. We're not going to go over to reading anymore, but instead it's over in mining and dining. Now this bomb site plays out slightly more different to the previous one in that you can't quite get all the control that you want. Okay, never mind. I was going to say that the vertical controls are a bit harder because they are playing inside of Piano itself, but they're just going to hop into the bomb site instead.
Oh, these mirror windows do make it a little bit hard to take advantage of this map control. Hot and Cold is so ready for a push directly into the site. Taiyu, he's pulled out that goo mine. He's looking for a fight, but he's about to meet a player. Ashen has re-aggressed now, and Taiyu is planting. Somehow, Ashen finds the pick onto Rek, but will SCARZ be able to confirm this plant? They indeed will. And they have full control of the dining site.
SCARZ had a really good entry. The impact's going to come down to take out the blitz. Wishoy in the site unknown gets one, gets traded down by Forest.
This is a great position now for SSG. They found the picks that they need to make this retake possible, but Fish, like, he has not been detected. He's found the first, traded on back again. It all comes down to Pion, and they know exactly where he is. Will he be able to deny the play? Pion! 3 kills! A clutch to boot! Space-Station, a round stolen!
Oh man. Big round for Pion. He's had a lot of big rounds this entire series, really.
And he's grooving.
Let's go!
This guy right here is fired up.
When they needed the captain, he's really showing up now.
What is he saying?
He's a showman.
What is he saying?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. Damn, I mean, there were so many good things that happened for SSG in that retake, and yet this guy, 3 players left, and he finds all 3 of them.
There was a very good back and forth in that round. That defense, SSG's actually ran in NA. So I'm assuming SCARZ has seen that before. They know that they leave the site empty. Wishoy actually jumps into dining window. The blitz pushes all the way through. He decides to plant on top of the dining table in a smoke because obviously SSG has someone below stopping the plant, or at least attempting to. So what does Pion do? Plants inside the smoke. Pion did not plant. Someone else plants inside the smoke, avoiding the player from below. They shouldn't have even gotten that close for SCARZ. SSG had a really amazing retake. SSG was in the great position to stop that, but obviously Pion, the 2 players at the end lined up. Picture perfect clutch.
And that's going to send SSG back down to the ground floor instead. They don't want to repeat any of the second floor bomb sites despite finding success over inside of reading room. Inside of kitchen though, once again, it doesn't look like they've changed up their strategy all too much. Once again, looking in to hold Bakery, but this time aided by a shield over on the Cupcakes position. Aided by only a single catch though, this time in a hot and J90 is going to secure the first Ashen for the second.
Yeah, with that, solid advantage for SSG, as you can see. We can't see the action, but here we are. Forrest upstairs still on cameras as J90 has been able to fortify himself back into the bomb site.
An aggressive Bakery take from SCARZ that ended up leaving them down 2 men. Proper play from SSG. They reinforced Bakery off to avoid losing somebody extra, especially after an amazing initiation going 2 picks up. But they still have the ace, they still have the Monty. They can get into sight. Can they plant while SSG has top floor control?
Fish like looking for a spray in on through the wall, but doesn't quite connect the shots into anyone on the other side. They have a little bit of info on a player inside of Whiskey, and that's going to allow Rek a little bit of space inside of Reception, although he might be met by the crossfire of two of these SSG players on the other side. There is in fact one awaiting his arrival just to his left, and even one to his right as well. The beep beep is going to give away his position as the player on the other side thinks the better of making the swing, not wanting to give away the man advantage.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing that there are 2 rifles up only for SCARZ, as Pion still just has this shield? Rek finds one, but the trade comes through quickly for SSG and traded back again. 2 versus 3 and a round that feels suddenly winnable for SCARZ.
2 rifles with Pion sure is making it feel like 3. Good trade. The Monty's getting great information and great positioning. That's the strength of having the shield they can't get shot through. But they're still going to have to worry about the player up top.
I mean, there's a player inside of the, like, between, like, K1 and K2, no? Like, right in the middle on the bomb chassis at the moment. I don't think Fish, like, quite knows that Ashen's just in this, like, slight off position. Maybe he does. Maybe he thinks he's in Rice. He definitely thinks he's in Rice. Ashen's going to pop up and kill him.
And now it's just Pion who Ashen also kills as well.
Let's fucking go, Liam.
Let's go, William.
Liam.
There you go. I was like, William? What kind of a name is that? Who's called William?
American people.
I was actually thinking Spoit. Spoit's a William.
Oh, is he?
He is.
I didn't know that.
Ashen. Big 2K at the end of that. You called it, Mandy. They had no idea that he was tucked in that aggressive position inside a kitchen.
The round started off like SCARZ wanted to do a bakery take. Obviously, it did not go in their favor. SSG made the right approach. They played the site. They have full top floor control. I like what SCARZ tried to do by isolating the coat player, playing that position a little bit. The trades were definitely in their favor, but once it came down to taking site, even if they could get through Ashen, which they didn't, the top floor player still would have been able to stop plants or eventually flank down Red and shoot them in the back when they tried to make that attempt. Well played from Ashen, though, to understand that he's not visible. He's hidden in the sight.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but we're going to bar cocktail, and after that conversation you had earlier, I'm not sure whether that's a good or bad thing for SSG.
We'll have to see. When you're in a game with Kafe, you can try all the bomb sites and see what sticks. You can play everyone. That's why you won't see too many teams go back to the same site that they lost the prior round, because there's so many different styles of how you can defend each site. Why not try them all? And if you see that one's clearly not working, like reading, then you go to top floor.
SCARZ very much looking for a sort of dissection approach to this map. Not only have they brought along the Monty to allow for some of that active work and pressure going into the map, but they've brought along 2 sets of grenades and the range explosives on Washoy as well. So even though there is a stronghold on the inside of Piano, you would surely think that some of these players on the rappel are going to be able to deal with them. Now, the danger of being on the rappel and loitering around and trying to play around with this Azami setup is that you have like 2 SSG players that are ready to jump out on you. Forest has already prepped the window at the bottom of Mining, and there's a player, it looks like the Solace of Hot and Cold, ready to go run out of Bakery.
Oh yeah, they're getting ready for this Christmas onslaught. As soon as J9O gives the call, they're gonna probably send the Solas outside through Bake to try and get the repels. He's getting great info for his teammate. J9O just has to stay alive. As soon as he sees the right moment, he's gonna call for his 2 teammates, Force and Hot and Cold, to make something happen.
Drone work not bad so far for SCARZ, as they have seen what's gone down and they do have the tools to do it, but the real question is, are they going to be baited out into doing this for maybe a little bit too long? Pressure now, hatch drop for Pion, the first point of contest into the building, and it's Washoy on the south rappel. I hate this position, it is so frustrating to play, but he's going to do it anyway and try and be active with that ranged explosive D.
The Monty getting into Sakar is going to give all the info they need. Obviously, you want to have a player set up on the window. He sees them off of the information.
He does have impacts for this run out as well, Fox, but he thinks better of it. Here comes the angle. He's just used the impact, but not gone for the peak, so instead he's looking to delay time from SCARZ.
There's still a minute on the clock. I actually like that from Hot and Cold, not committing to it. He is the Solace. He is going to be an X factor in stopping the plant. You already have the Monty. J90 is making the professional player call, the very mature player call, to fall back, call his teammates back, and really force him to plant.
That being said, I don't mind this from SCARZ though. Even though they have seen the setup on piano, they haven't like squandered their wealth of utility on it. They still have a little bit of it left for the rest of the setup that's gone down in Freezer, but there's Hot and Cold to claim the pick back onto Rek. Fox is feeling a little bit of that pain as well inside of Cocktail, but he can heal himself back up. And with only 30 seconds left to go, all eyes are on Hot and Cold as they look for the execute, and Fox is going to double down on his pick.
Yeah, Pion is in a really awkward position here, marching forward up the stairs towards the white stairs. Isn't going to net him much success. Fishlike has to be a big player here for SCARZ. 15 seconds in the round, and SSG continue the mantra of just letting them execute because they will be ready every step of the way. J90 for 2. Fishlike the last one, but J90 picks them all up. Spacestation take the lead.
And that's where we see the strength of it, not going for that aggressive play, not risking losing a player. You get to go back up into the second floor. Hot and Cold not only got a pick before the execute happened, but he was able to maintain that pressure from down low. If you're Pion, especially on the Monty, the reason why he ended up going towards white is because if he tried walking across the long bar and pressing Fultz in C1, he would have inevitably ended up getting impacted below. They wouldn't have been able to get a plant. So they had to struggle last minute to push down white, try to find an opening into Cocktail side, and really just get the picks on their way there.
Brute forcing was not the medicine they needed though to clear up that round. As some really nice shots, really good ones from J90 to make sure the round was very much handily SSG's.
There he is. J90 is so calm. Like, compared to the rest of the team, you've got like Forrest and Ashen who are always fired up when they make a big play. J90 just sits there, cool. He gets a 3K, you wouldn't tell it by looking at his facial expression.
Jack is arguably one of the best NA players. He's also a funny guy. I mean, he keeps everybody lighthearted. He's always laughing no matter what joke you say. So he definitely keeps the energy up. You'd love to have a guy like that on your team.
Ashen looking for a spawn peek over on the park side, but no one's actually gone over there for SCARZ. It seems like they're rappelling up safe from the other side of the map as well, which is fair enough. I mean, if you've got a 1.5x Warden main on the other side, you don't really want to be dying before you approach to the map.
Washoi smokes on Thinker. Surely that's a accident on the land build, unless they know something I don't.
That could be. Rek is bringing in the floors. He's going to be clearing out a lot of utility on the top floor. So it looks like SCARZ wants to commit to this top floor site. They obviously have Grim. I'm assuming those Grims will be clearing out C1, C2, C3. And I agree with you. I do think Washoi wanted those nades because it looks like they're trying to go for a nade on Cocktail.
That was really nicely played there. Tayo with the sledgehammer. Washoi already repelled and ready for the angle. Now the Pixel player has been taken out.
Who needs nades? Washoi got one. All right, he did his job.
I wonder what's going to happen when they try and like clear Cocktail with the utility and then Washoi realizes that he's got smokes. Anyway, alas, he's actually already thrown one out, so who knows? Maybe it was intentional. Tayo is going to send in a drone to see if he can land a grenade on one of the players inside of Cocktail. But this Aruni Gate is going to protect Fultz in his position for a little bit longer. But here goes Rek on his creep up through white.
What's he going to be able to achieve? Ashen is there ready for him. Rek goes down. SCARZ might have had some form of an advantage, but it has been swiped away once again as this mini execute on the top floor is yet to find any success. Fultz so tempted to go out the window, but instead he falls on back to site.
It's a 4-on-4 with a minute. Falling back to site. They obviously have this interesting site setup. SCARZ has invested so much utility onto that Cocktail site to not even be able to have thrown a nade out, not catch anybody on Cocktail. They do get a pick for their troubles. I don't even think they know that Cocktail is clear, so they're going to stall on top of all this utility. 2 nades out for free, but Washoi's going to make an aggressive play right now. Looks like a spare of desperation to try and find someone.
Yeah, but if he does find Forrest here, it opens up another avenue for the attack. The site is not reading, it is mining. Will Washoi check every corner though? He's looking at the long angle, spots that player moving up the stairs, but does not check Forrest to his immediate left in the corner. As a result, SSG, the numbers advantage back in their favor. Fishlike swipes it away once again. Fultz going for a big flank on the top floor. This is a round-winning play. If he can deliver 1 kill, it's all that's needed. Pion in a 1v2. He's clutched up massively for SCARZ in some of these rounds prior, but he will need to be called upon again. Checking the angle, Ashen's ready for it. Space Station are fired up, and they win the half, 4 rounds to 2.
That was a beautiful read from SSG there. They actually did not do the same setup that they did on that site. They opened up all of dining, and they completely held up top, expecting those nades to come through. Unfortunately, no nade was able to be found. They got back to site. Time was dwindling down. They had everything set up for SCARZ to go for that plant. They weren't even able to get that far. Fault's amazing on the roam. He was able to shut down the execute before he even got that far. Pion alone in sight with a boat in Blanks Creek with no paddles.
I was wondering where you were going when you said boat.
Yeah, it came to me, but I didn't know if I could say the word, so.
Yeah.
You did well. Good
We'll
one
see.
from
You are with 2 Aussies, so you get a little bit of a pass for language.
You said I was a liability earlier, so I have to make sure I got to lock in.
You accidentally said something and then laughed at your own joke. So
that is true.
Yeah.
But I got to lock in. Just like SSG is locking in.
Oh, yeah, NA girl.
It is terrible, isn't it? SCARZ, they're going to flip over to their defending half. I'm sorry, I've lost it a little bit off the back. Mining and dining the first bomb sites for SCARZ. Interesting. Trying to throw a bit of a curveball at SSG. Different approach as well. Like you said, SSG, they went down to the basement one, or sorry, the ground floor bomb site, looking to test the waters against SCARZ. But SCARZ immediately on their defending half are taking us over to mining and dining.
Wow.
Ooh.
Early aggression from Jack, just jumping in downstairs. I'm sure he picked off the Solus, and that's going to make the site that much easier. I was about to answer your question by saying, of course you'd want to go here. They have the Solus, they have the denial from below, they want to stall up from above, and they have the mirror for the middle. But now they've lost below, so that's 1 step down. So now, if SSG looks to go for a plant, it's that much easier to.
Having a look at the cocktail. It's Forest on the other side of this. Going to send in a drone, but we're sure to take it out. And the reservoir of utility is going to start to flood through for the rest of SSG. They do want to try and sink something onto the player inside a cocktail. Meanwhile, Hot and Cold on the other side is going to work just outside of the train bow. Need to see what he can find. Pion as well with a pre-ripped C4. Anticipating player might be there on the rappel, but actually SSG playing the cautious game will mean that Pion won't find anyone for now.
SSG cleared out the bottom 4 player, and now they have an understanding that Wishoy is stuck in cocktail. So it looks like all of SSG is setting up around the windows to potentially get an extra pick. And here's those nades that we like to see last round that were not there. Will it be able to connect?
Oh, that's a lot of nades. Wishoy is lucky to be alive after all that. I think 4 nades were sent his way from both the Finker and the Gridlock, and somehow he survived. Rek is coming in to support, but doesn't want to overextend. There's a Twitch drone coming in, stealing that mirror window away from SCARZ.
SSG invested a lot of resources on it, and I don't think it caught anything. So I'd expect them to use what they've gotten so far, and it looks like they're going to try to go through the basement floor and the middle floor to just attack the site. They've put a lot of effort upstairs. They're banking on the fact that SCARZ has sent resources to help Wishoy up there. But it doesn't look like SCARZ is too caught off guard.
Ooh, Faults taken very low by that Thorn Trap, the Razor Bloom. He marches on forward, clearing, face checking all of Piano. There's nobody left on this top floor for SCARZ as the mini execute is successful for SSG. But let's remember, this is mining and dining, and SSG are nowhere near the site.
Well, there's 30 seconds ticking by as well, and even though the vertical pressure is in their hands, they still need to worry about Wishoy below and the remaining of the anchor players. I wonder what Tayo and Pion are currently doing on the bomb side. Oh, and there we go. Pion to unlock things for the defense. With 20 seconds left to go, it's SSG to press the attack.
Pion finds another one, and here comes Wishoy, the backstab. Hot and Cold, concussed by his own Zafir. He will fall. Pion finds 3 on site, and a 4th. A massive round once again from the captain of SCARZ. He is stone cold, and he's having a laugh about it as well. SCARZ open up the second half with a convincing win.
Even with a man down, they still command such a big part of the map. SSG almost mismanaging their time and their resources for that cocktail pick. Wishoy, I mean, he was dancing in there, amazing at the fact that he was able to dodge those nades. And then inevitably going back down the site, and they just played along the mirror. SSG had the bottom floor. They wasted the rest of their round for the top floor. And then at the end, they had to panic, try to find something, and all they ended up finding was Pion and a Wishui flank.
He was dancing around that pillar, dancing around reading. Can't believe he found 4 without being traded.
Does Pion have a chance for himself?
Is he saying Pion, Pion, Pion? Is he saying pew, pew, pew? I thought it was like pew, pew with the finger guns.
That makes more sense. But
I might be wrong.
It sounded like he was saying his own name.
Yeah, that's
It
what
did
I
sound like he was
thought.
saying his own name, but what do I know?
I mean, does that mean if you have a good cast next round, you're going to be like, Fox, 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 yeah?
No, I don't know if that's in my brand. I don't know if that's my style. But he sure is filling those shoes.
We might get you there later, mate. We might get you there.
one day we're going to transform you into a cringe caster like the rest of us. Anyway, for now, you're still the professional. You can chill out for a little while.
Thanks.
As SCARZ, they're going to attempt yet another defense of the ground floor, I believe it is. Deb, help. Well, actually, you help. You know what's going on. Oh, no. Surely it's reading. Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Don't ever listen to me or Manny when it comes to picking the bomb sites.
It's you guys
Why
again.
are we so bad at this? It's like...
It's definitely you too.
It's us. It's curse. Anyway.
Instead of bringing the Solus and committing to it, they're going to bring the Pulse for just general info.
Wow.
What an angle.
All the way out from La La Land with a hole in the wall as well.
From the 3-point line. From the 3-point line.
That was half court, I tell you what.
That's
that was half court.
Half court shot.
Yeah, very nice start for SSG, but we've seen SCARZ come back from the 4v5s before.
It looks like SSG is doubling down on this cocktail clear with bringing the Grim. I'd imagine they try to clear out Christmas first. They're really playing the windows and trying to figure out where they want to execute from, where they want to invest this utility from.
Well, it is both of the catch operators off the back of what the onslaught could be at the moment from SSG. The Lion scan will ring true as the Grims start to sail out. And Washoe is feeling a bit of pain, but he's going to jump out. Wow. Oh, successful, but traded directly by the Claimer on the other side. It's Pion, the last remaining player on the top floor inside of Pixel.
That's an amazing play because now they've cleared out all of the cocktail side. If SCARZ decides to capitalize off this, I don't even think they know, but they could play up top for way longer because SSG has nobody on cocktail windows to put the pressure on the backside.
Cautious game still for SSG. They know that there's still one player here, and so they want to send Hot and Cold in for the backstab. They've actually got live info on him at the moment. That's Pion now making his way inside of Bathroom. There's no way he's falling off from this position.
Oh, but Hot and Cold does lock down on Wreck. Pion locked in place from the Lion scan. What's going on? They're both looking the wrong direction. Hot and Cold gets the kill. Tayo with it all to do. 3 kills remaining between him and a big clutch, but this seems so far-fetched as he has now been spotted. Sees the player on the window. Oh, an accidental misclick for Faults, but he gets the kill regardless. And with that, Space Station are just 2 rounds away from knocking SCARZ out of the major.
The silent killer that round, J90. All the way on top of the other roof on the other building. Then inevitably comes back. He's always putting that pressure. Whether he's not there holding it, you're always worried about the position. You have to be careful on where you move. I really like the jump out play. It was a risk, it was a calculated risk, but I don't think they played off of that risk. It looks like to me that SCARZ is panicking and trying to find a little bit of an advantage here and there, but they're not trying to find the advantages together.
It's probably warranting a tactical timeout. I think completely justified, like you pointed out. It doesn't quite feel like in the last round that they've actually been staying together as a unit. It seems like they are starting to regress against the success of SSG.
A lot of their plays so far this map have definitely been very singular, and I think that has won them some of the rounds. I will give them that. But in a moment like this, when SSG is playing very methodical, completely switching, we haven't seen a lot of rushes. We're not seeing any gimmicky shields or Amarus or anything. They're playing very slow, keeping it down to the basics. And SCARZ almost looks like they're really just trying to find something to get them going, find something to get excited about.
The prospect of getting revenge against SCARZ for knocking them out of Copenhagen is certainly worth getting excited for if you're on SSG or if you're an SSG fan watching along at home. The SCARZ, though, the last remaining Japanese representative at the major in Atlanta. A whole region worth of fans cheering these guys on. 2 Japanese teams already eliminated. They are the last ones standing.
What an operator switch, all playing normal operators, then immediately switching to the Glaz Grim Blitz. Sense, too. I've never seen this in North America. I couldn't tell you what's coming, but I'd imagine with the way that they're set up, they're going to be doing some sort of a back VIP take almost. Maybe have the Sense roll all the way towards VIP so that Glaz can jump in VIP window or booth window and push all the way towards VIP.
And just as you were saying that SSG were doing stuff out of character and being methodical, they show us that they are still SSG, but Rek is going to open up the equation for SCARZ, having a bit of an inkling that someone's coming in from Garage, but here goes Forrest to lead the charge and spearhead the push. Tayo, though, is going to double down on the pick that Rek initially got, but there goes Fultz playing the Glaz Sense combination that you pointed out, but they're going to shift their focus to the second floor.
Yeah, they are desperate to find Rek. After he found that early pick, he has been loitering around this ground floor. He spots out Forrest, and Rek finds Fultz as well. Forrest must secure this kill, and the pistol does it. However, another player coming in. It's Washoy against Forrest now. In the 1v1, in goes a nade. Forrest the second one, and the C7 to lock it in there for SCARZ. Another round on the board.
That might have been my first ever caster curse right there. I say exactly that they're playing slow, keeping it to the basics, and then boom, Sense Glaz Blitz. But I like the idea. SCARZ was just set up very well for it. It looked like the designated target was supposed to be VIP, the Blitz running through while the Glaz watches over him. Glaz ended up getting one, but there was no one VIP. SCARZ completely reinforced off Freezer and had 3 people roaming up top, expecting SSG to either top down clear or to eventually deny plant from above. And so once the train went, it never stopped. SSG kept looking for a pick, and inevitably Forrest won it, the 1v1 in mining, but the rest of his team don't have shields in front of him. The rest of his team was getting cut down behind him. So at this point, once you're in a 1v3 and you got that pick, where do you go from here? You can't.
Really solid round there from SCARZ to be able to shut down SSG on their own MO. And what do SSG do in response from here? I can admire the grit from them to then try and change up the tempo, but what's the smart thing to do from here is then to go back and keep things simple and methodical, or like double down and try and go fast.
I wouldn't double down. They were doing a great job at going slow and methodical. They really had SCARZ number, getting the picks and ramping up that aggression. And I think it's fine. A little bit of a heat check round right there. Now they keep bringing it back down to Earth, to Planet Zero. Ground Zero, not Planet Zero. And just test it out, especially on this top floor site. They've been trying to connect those cocktail nades. They've been trying to connect the Christmas nades. The nades have not connected.
That being said, 3 sets of grenades on the side of SSG. Now, to me, that makes me think they're either going to get players in the second floor, or it's going to be like a very cocktail-centered attack where they're going to send in this reservoir of utility to try and take down whatever setup's going in on the top floor.
A lot of setup will be given to Hot and Cold to get him downstairs. Obviously, he's on the knock. I think he's going to take a lot of his time. Let SCARZ think that there's nobody playing from below. SSG is probably going to show a very big force from the windows, from Cigar, and then Hot and Cold will be the one to strike with the nades from below, or he might find a pick on one of SCARZ members roaming. The rest of SSG and the rest of their nades also setting up around cocktail side. Maybe catching that Wamai off, but he is Wamai, so I'd assume he'd have his disc set up around him. They also have the C4 ready for this window in case someone was to get on it.
Hot and Cold seems to have made his way safely into the building, and that's what you pointed out earlier, the investment from SSG off the back of the intel to make this work. Fishlike on the other side is going to have this C4 prepped for the player over on Cocktail, but playing a very safe game, I believe, is J90 or Forrest on the other side.
Look at where Fishlike's rotating. He's rotating to the best spot to throw the C4 at this window. This could be an insane C4 to throw. This is one of the better spots for the nades to come through.
But what if Hot and Cold goes for the backstab?
Oh, is Hot and Cold got this read? Fishlike spotted. Oh. Hot and Cold can't quite land that shot. Now 2 SCARZ players come hunting. They are droned. A loose nade tossed in Rek's direction. Does find nothing as Hot and Cold now in an awkward dance. Fultz has found his entry, and Forrest is repelled on inside. He's found one, but traded on back again. SSG continue fighting tooth and nail. 1 player down on the ground as Washoy must clutch against 4 players from Space Station in perfect position, and still information for SCARZ. The diffuser going down puts Washoy in an awkward position. 2 players next to each other. He finds them both. Is it possible for him to cross? Is it possible that he could stick this? Where is Space Station? Hot and Cold doesn't have the time. The nade won't detonate in time. He's got it. Get off me, he calls, as Hot and Cold clutches the round for SSG, and they find match points, series points.
The nade almost didn't get there in time. If you're an SSG fan, these games you're used to. These are the games you're used to.
He pulled the nade, and I thought I saw less than 4 seconds on that diffuser. It must have been a hair's breadth away from being a clutch there.
That round, you can almost see the cogs spinning on SSG. They both got on the window that usually the nades come from, baiting Fishlike to walk downstairs. They obviously were setting up Hot and Cold to be able to walk downstairs, just like you said. Unfortunately, the bullets weren't able to connect. But on the other side of things, they send more people downstairs to help Fishlike, and as they do that, SSG actually hits the site through Heaven window. They both jump in, drop the skylight, and they completely clean house on the site. They get the plant down. It was a valiant attempt, but obviously Hot and Cold still downstairs with that nade. Hairline away, he was able to stop that defuse.
The downside of that castle barricade on the Heaven door into Cocktail was that it allowed so much free real estate for SSG.
Now we're going to go down into what is potentially the final bomb site for SCARZ in mining and dining. And the approach from SSG, interesting. They are looking to bring along the Grim and Faults as well on the Thermite. Where on this site do you bring Thermites?
To Thermite top red, most likely.
Okay.
Thermite top red, or...
Oh, it's soft.
Oh, it is soft. If you were to get full top floor control, you could Thermite back white. But it looks like they have a rotate in back white as of right now. So that is a good question. We'll have to see if they end up using the Thermite anyway, maybe for the hatch to put it on the side of the hatch, but you could have brought Ace for that too. So I really wonder where they would bring the Thermite. Maybe it was just a contingency plan in case red was reinforced, but I really like the Grim and the knock out of SSG so far. A lot of misdirection. Wherever the Bs are going, you think that's where the rest of the team's going, but so far there hasn't really been anybody behind the Grim. It's just been the Grim taking attention away so that Hot and Cold can get in.
Looks like they wanting to inject Ashen down into the ground floor, but Fishlike is there to meet him on the other side on the Solus. He has an inkling that there might be someone here looking to try and make his way in, but do SSG know? Bolt is on drones at the moment. It does make me think that they have some kind of read that there is a player on the ground floor. They're actually going to double down on a push going in. Oh, nice shots from Hot and Cold, but Washoy is there to trade one back.
What a pinch.
A lot of map control now for SSG as well.
Absolutely. Immediately after getting that kill, they convert it into taking full downstairs control to stop SCARZ from retaking it. Now they have good position. They're trying to find the nade onto the Mira, opening up the site a little bit. If anybody's standing around here, it will be droned. There will be a nade coming soon. But where do you go from here? You have the basement floor, but you have to get up somehow. And it looks like Pion set a pillar to watch red and brown. Rex obviously in the site, and you have Wushoy on white.
Ashen as well rotating off the ground floor. Even though they've given themselves the control to do that, they realize that they need to start to shift their focus in towards the bomb side in through this pre-execute phase. Now here's Faults. He's the one with the diffuser in hand. Where's he going to take it? He's the one that wants to send it in. Oh, but there goes Ashen. Double backing on the control in the ground floor. But by the time that had happened, it gave a window for Washoy to go back down into the ground floor and actually claim his life. Now man advantage for SCARZ, and the mirror window still up in the bomb side as well. Faults is going to be on a really tough spot if he wants to try and jump in and get the plant down.
Ashen was the win condition there. The fact that he went down is going to make it very hard for SSG to get in. They're all stacked up on one side of the map trying to get in.
And here comes the execute. 20 seconds left, and Faults has gone down. The diffuser Cold on the ground. Hot and Cold, he's been good, but he's not been great. And J90 left with it all to do in a 1v4. He will not likely find anything here. SCARZ, a few love taps through that window. A jump out will secure the round for the Japanese. One more required to push into overtime.
These games are going the distance.
This deserves OT.
It does.
I'm not just being my Apex shill out here. This deserves overtime.
No, this is one of the best games so far at the tournament by far.
Can you say that again, but like you mean it?
Is that my voice? This is one of the best games that I've seen at the tournament so far.
Oh, very nice.
Wow. Let's not get too excited, Fox.
Okay. You guys said you wanted to turn me into a cringe caster. I could get cringe.
I'll count on that. But this game has been anything but. This game has been hugely intense. SSG still have match point.
But the launch window is starting to close for the Space Station. SCARZ on the defense are going to take us back down into Kitchen as SSG look to change up their strat. Full roam clear operators, Jackal and triple soft breach as well. I can only imagine SSG off the back of this really want that second floor control.
The basement site, if you can get a good grasp of the second floor, the hardest part is planting. SSG, they didn't attempt to do a full clear. They didn't really attempt to clear bakery. They just went for that gimmicky rush that we were talking about, the blitz, the glass, and it wasn't able to find anything. So this round, they're going to take it back to basics. They know basement, if they can get that top floor, the hardest part is getting that plant down. So if I feel like they're probably in a good position this round to just keep it simple. Wreck getting aggressive.
Yeah. Not going to find anything, Joe, just impacting the window away and scaring away some of those players coming out from spawn. But this is nice from Forest, opening up garage all to himself and putting the pressure out on the freezer wall. Oh, what?
Rex shot it. He went down the stairs and shot the Selma.
SCARZ is set up for this attack, though. They don't really have too many resources or too many reinforcements, but they're going to fight for this tooth and nail. Rek barely getting away with his life, going back into the top floor, wasting a little more time. And here's the thing with SSG. Somebody has to go. They're all around the map, slowly choking it out, but somebody has to go.
Who's that person going to be? That is the question. Is Rek? Oh, so much info as well. He can see all those drones going out on the map. He realizes that he has a bit of a safe haven falling back in through Laundry. His fish light on his push in and up through the red stairs, knowing that there's a player out the balcony. He's going to look for the jump out, but J90 has the read.
Elsewhere, though, Washoy has found his pick. Hot and Cold, been such a pivotal player in this game. We may well see another engagement here as Forest is so ready for this aggression from SCARZ.
SCARZ still having control of that second floor. Rek not going down. Washoy still up there. SSG's having a difficult time clearing them out. Force is not going to be the one to go. He usually is. He's going to push in through top white, though, try to help his team clear out the second floor.
Oh, faults. Moving on forward, Forest does find that initial pick. Numbers advantage in favor of the American squad. Another pick, almost. It goes begging. Washoy gets back to site safely, but barely with any HP remaining.
Oh man, Washoy is going to be feeling the pressure now. Not too much HP left in his name and only a minute left to go now. What SSG still have to worry about is even if they go and translate their push down into the basement, Tayo has still got some of those yokai drones up, and that is going to allow them to then go for that plant tunnel if SSG leave it too late.
That is the biggest thing. 50 seconds is enough time, but not enough time if you have to deal with an Echo and a potential C4. SCARZ, that is their win condition right now. If SSG is not paying attention to it, they also have to clear out the Vigil, who's going to be able to evade drones inside Kafe.
I think they know what's going on though, and SSG now feeling the gravity of the bomb site with the final 30 seconds left of the round. They are going to send in a little bit of that utility, opening up at least some of the freezer wall, and they're going to drop the hatch now. It's Fault to make the entry.
Washoy has to have an impact, but he goes down with no resistance. Tayo, two yokais hiding, looking for a chance, but it doesn't stick. He gets a second. The plant's gone down. Space Station are looking for liftoff. SCARZ disastrous. And it looks like a new rivalry is taking shape. But NA get the last laugh. Fire up the engines. Space Station blast through SCARZ and stave off elimination from the Atlanta Major.
And it took us to all 3 maps, but finally, an explosive SSG-style execute is what they needed to stem the bleeding against SCARZ.
Of course.
You get it?
That is the last laugh that NA
got the
gets.
last laugh.
It feels only more appropriate that we have you here, Fox. A heartbreaking defeat for the Japanese and an exit without a single win from the Major for SCARZ. On the flip side, I mean, SSG will be very happy about that one.
I was going to say heartbreak for the guys over on SCARZ and over in Japan. I think it's the final Japanese roster as well being taken out. So sad for us. Sad days from both me and Dev, but happy ones for you.
Yeah, it was a beautiful back and forth to watch, but that is just the start of the mountain for SSG.
Yeah, and it's a huge redemption moment as well for Space Station. They had a troublesome game, and moving forward in the tournament, they will have a lot of questions to answer for. And with that win, Space Station have staved off elimination. They had a rough play-ins, but they managed to get through it. It's been a challenging game ever since, but they are through. Did you ever doubt them, Fox?
No. I think the desk was definitely doubting them more than we were up here. Well, me.
It's true. We did end up getting a complete swipe on the desk, all of the predictions for Space Station. Not a lot of love for SCARZ, and of course they do go home without any wins here in Copenhagen. Of course, sad for all the Japanese fans, but for Space Station, a huge moment and a chance at redemption. We're ready for an interview with them over on the desk.
Thank you so much, Dev, Mandy, and Fox. That is correct. Right now I'm with Pyeon and his team manager, Bbot. I don't even know where to begin. You fought with all of your heart. We could feel your enthusiasm. What are you going to be taking away from this experience?
本当に一生懸命頑張ってくれたんですけど、これからもう印象とか、これからどうなるとか、もう一応教えてくれませんか？
もっともっとAPAC っていう地域の底上げをして、今後もっと APAC 地域がこういう世界のリージョンに対してもっと活躍できるように自分たちも一 APAC 代表として頑張っていけたらいいなと思ってます。
So as we are representatives of the APAC region, we want to make sure that we are bringing up APAC region with us as we grow and improve, and we make sure we want to be good representatives and set good examples as we go forward.
Oh, a hard-fought battle for sure. I do want to ask you if there's anything that you want to say to your opponent. I mean, it was a barn burner, a nail-biter for sure.
本日の相手 SG に何か言いたいこと、一言ありますか？
この世界大会に来て一番自分たちに優しくしてくれてて、すごい、気軽にコミュニケーション取ったり、いつも楽しく接してくれてありがとうっていう気持ちと、今後 SSG、ちゃんとベスト8まで行ってメインステージで頑張ってほしいなと思います。
Alright, so they've always been really kind to us, and especially at this tournament here, we've always had really good, fun communication with them and had a really great time. And the last thing is they want them to go to the best 8 stage and go on to the main stage there and continue the legacy for that.
Okay, one more question. What was the best experience here at the Atlanta Major? What was the biggest takeaway for you?
このメジャーのエンターテイナーの全体的な、一番、楽しかったこととかもなんか教えてくれませんか？
楽しかったこと、でも今の SSG 戦がすごい自分は楽しくプレーできて、今 CG やってるなっていう気持ちがすごいあって、世界大会っていうやっぱり勝たないといけないっていうプレッシャーがすごいあったんですけど、本当に今日はみんなでいつもゲームを楽しんでる気持ちで試合に臨めて本当に楽しかったです。
So it has to be this match that we just played with SSG. It was certainly something to put for the record there, and we're really happy with. I mean, even if it's not the result that we wanted, we're happy that we got to play together, and even as a team, we're happy for the just being up here on the world stage.
Oh, so positive. I absolutely loved your energy. It was exceptional to watch you play. Thank you so much for that fantastic interview, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Pick the brains of their opponents, SSG defeating SCARZ, and we are fortunate enough to be able to nab an interview with the coach Callout. Gabe joining me for this interview as well, but okay, Callout, I'm not going to hold back here. I'm sure you feel relieved. You live another day.
Oh yeah. Well, it's nice always, to be able to play tomorrow. So.
Yes, I would think so.
A lot closer than we want it to be, though. We'll say. So.
What emotions are you feeling, though? I mean, I think at times it seemed like you all were very confident, and then at other times I did feel like it got a little bit nervy.
Just relief, I guess, that we got through it, because like you said, it was a lot closer than it should have been. A lot of those rounds we had advantages and kind of just threw them away. Yeah.
Well, run me through what's been going on. What's been the talks throughout this entire process leading up into this last game and these last, just the moment now celebrating. Like what's going through everyone's mind? What's going through your mind?
The first map, I think on the attack side especially, we're going a little too quick towards that mid to late part. So we had that adjustment, going to the second and third map where we're like saying, okay, we're going to get that advantage early. Then after that, kind of just tone it down a bit, play for that advantage, and then, kind of collapse together. So that was that. And then in terms of the emotions, I don't think anybody really got, off or anything like that. It was more so just like strategically what we needed to change going into map 2 and 3.
Now, would you say, and I'm just going off on a whim here, so please correct me if I'm wrong, would you say those 2 a.m. plunges, those 30-mile runs until 7 a.m. watching the sunrise, would you say that that's affected anything in terms of the performance so far in play-ins? Or playoffs?
I just don't think we've been doing enough, honestly. I think the 4-mile runs at 4 a.m., it's not enough. So tonight, we're going to ramp it up. And then we're going about 10, 12 miles around that area right there.
Look what you just did. Now you just upped their workout.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
look at him. He's the model here. That is a man.
Yeah,
that's a man
Paul's
right
like,
there.
they need to get as in shape as me. That's the rule.
He's whipping them in shape. And if they're doing 12 miles, they're about to be doing 20 miles, right?
Yeah, we're going to keep ramping it up till the performance where we
now,
end the
I just personally want to know, because I am in the fitness world such as yourself, who's the weakest one on the team in the gym?
Oh, man. I don't know if I can say that right now. I call somebody else. We won't say that. We won't say that.
For sure. Well, I definitely want to say congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, your boys have been fighting really hard. I know you and Mango put in a lot of work to get these guys set up and get that prep going. So it's definitely nice to see the performance that you guys are, because at the beginning of the NL stage, we talked a few times.
Yeah.
That's definitely not the performance you guys wanted to be showing and displaying. And then you guys were making those, that uphill trend.
Yeah.
And then had a good run in play-ins. Obviously, that Bliss game. I don't want to write off Bliss. I think they did play a good game, but then through playoff, sure, it's been rough, but I'm glad to see you guys still here.
Yep, no, for sure.
All right, call out. Thank you so much for that fantastic interview. Congrats on the victory. You live another day.
Sure.
I think you really upped their workout, though. I'm not going to lie.
Good. They deserve it. They need it. They need it.
I'm
said it.
sure they're going to be
they
like,
need it.
thanks a lot, Laxane.
Right,
oh, my goodness. Well, let's start diving into this game, though. Man, I don't even know where to start with this series. It was a back-and-forth battle. Both these teams fighting tooth and nail. I mean, Fultz popped off. Ashton had a great performance. But, Gabe, you kept on telling me over and over again, Jackie, it's got to be a collective effort, and it certainly was.
No, it definitely was. And this is what you need from this team, especially, SSG is going to have an extremely hard run now. And it's not to say that, any teams aren't going to have a hard run as well, but this is what needs to be done. This is the energy that they need to be bringing into every single game, going all the way up until the grand finals. Everyone needs to be here mentally, physically. They need to be ready.
And I think I'll repeat it again and say it again today, is the performance. The result is so much more important than the performance, because you don't want to be playing your best Siege at the start of the competition.
No.
Sure, it would be nice to have beaten these guys in a much more convincing fashion, but the fact that SSG are back in the bracket for tomorrow, that is the be-all and end-all for this team.
Something interesting, Gabe, that we were talking about behind the scenes, you were like, in ways, this could be a positive for them. Like, the pressure's constantly on. They can't slack off at all.
Yeah, and that is a good thing. It does force everyone to always be ready. And when you are playing against teams that can relax a little bit, you are still back against the wall. Everyone still understands what is capable at being lost if you don't show up. So, and that could be your career. That could be your run. So at the end of the day, it forces everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, you have to be prepared. So that alone can be an advantage, but at that same time, you can't afford to be making mistakes.
And how are you feeling about SSG overall? I mean, we got a lot of tournament left here, but I mean, that was a scary one in points.
It was a scary one. I think, a couple of rounds go a different way. It's a completely different story, and we're talking about
Talk
SCARZ.
that Echo, that last round.
Yeah, even that very last round, where the Echo has just not been able to get the Echo drone to jump up to deny the plant. It is minute differences in rounds that has got SSG through today. And a little bit, like that very last round, nothing in their control.
Nope.
They would have lost that round but for a misplay from a SCARZ player.
All right, well, thank you so much for your analysis, gentlemen. But we ain't done with the day yet. We got Wolves versus M80 next. Don't go anywhere. Someone's going home.